to another edition of Ask Michael Ehline. This is where I teach people the law in an unorthodox manner by using examples that we see in the news, case law briefs, but it's all about exposing the Leviathan and its instrumentalities and taking back your rights. Know the law and mean to keep it well. Come here to learn from an expert to know your right. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I am attorney Michael Ehline, and no, I'm not knocking all night. I am not a AI product, at least not that I'm aware of, unless Elon Musk is right and that we all live in a simulation. No, I have just not been able to go live as much as I want because I have a herniated disc, and it's made it very difficult for me to just even crawl out of my bed. But I wanted to continue my coverage of Lane Myers. I started the show a little early because I haven't been able to. Hey, Dirk, good seeing you. Good seeing you. Knocking all night. OTVO, no bootlicker. Arthur Clement. Jody Shiloh, good seeing you, ma'am. Brandy Swaney, thank you, everybody, for being part of Team MPE. So my views have gone from 1 million a month down to 100,000. So I'm definitely, my ego's hurt. You know, being injured, it really makes it hard for you to do the shows, and even with my daughter helping out, it just hasn't been good. So I wanted to, make a good faith effort to go live today and cover the never-ending saga of Lane Myers, one of the bravest legal geniuses that I've ever met. And as you guys know, I don't see eye to eye with him on everything. But, he's not a trained lawyer. He is a jurist. He is somebody who knows the law, and he is not bound by the same rules of decorum as someone like me. So I have to look at him and look at his legal mind, and that's what I try to focus on. So today, what I'm going to do is Bill of Rights. Good seeing you, the Bill of Rights. Let's go. Good seeing you, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I started a little bit early. Hey, Rami, good seeing you, sir. I'm happy that you joined me today. So what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to cover. Look at Lane. It looks like a totally different dude. He has a video called Meet Shannon Walker, and I'm not really sure 100% even who Shannon Walker is. So he's in a bunch of other stuff, apparently for violating some kind of a court order. I'm not really sure exactly what's going on, but we're going to learn together, and I'm going to interject with what I know about the law as it would apply to California or Texas. I'm in the process of trying to get barred into Arizona so I can help people like him, Mr. Gold, and Reluctant Prophet as best I can. But golly jeepers, Lane sure does look different without his beard. And if anybody has any questions or comments, or they want to interject things into the comments section to help get me up to speed, that would be helpful. But I'm kind of learning along with you. I'm going to go live as long as I can. I took some nerve medication to make it easier for me to. I'm at a standing desk right now because I can't sit down. As soon as I sit down, my whole left leg feels like someone's like sticking razor blades in it. But I'm going to do my best because I think that it's really important to understand what's going on in Arizona. And honestly, what's going on in Arizona today reminds me a lot of what happened back in the 80s and 90s in Orange County, California, with judges like Judge Prickett, and with the traffic court system, where my friends and I, before I was a lawyer, were fighting against it because we felt, and I still do feel, that the traffic courts in Orange County, especially California, violate due process. They violate the Constitution. I don't believe there's such a thing as quasi-criminal. I believe that there's criminal and there's not. And so this whole traffic law system, in my opinion, as a layman and as an attorney, I believe that a lot of it is basically a money grab. I believe that municipal corporations are, to a large degree, an unconstitutional money grab, the way that they're set up. And so, but let's talk about this. It's only like 13 minutes. I'm going to let Lane say his piece, and then we'll get into this is a public service video that I tried to cover the other day, but I just couldn't keep going. All right, so here we go. Let's listen to what Lane has to say. Give me a bunch of ones for Lane. It doesn't look like he's wearing his MAGA hat anymore. So, and again, that's one of the reasons why I think the leftist judicial system is after him, because let's face it, Obama judges and California judges who are transplants to Arizona that don't like Trump. And we just saw that, right? The Trump passed an executive order to get rid of all those criminals that Joe Biden flooded our country with, Tren de Aragua, and an Obama judge just said, no, you've got to fly them back. You got to fly all those criminals and gangbangers who are terrorizing Aurora, Colorado, back to the United States. So, anyways, let's get into it and let's see what Lane's got to say. Here we go. Hopefully, you guys can hear me as well.
Everybody, meet Shannon Walker, NASA astronaut and American physicist. Shannon Walker is an American physicist and a NASA astronaut selected in 2004. She launched on her first mission into space on June 25, 2010, on board Soyuz TMA-19 and spent over 163 days in space. She returned to space for her second long-duration mission on November 15, 2020, on board SpaceX Crew 1, the first operational flight of SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft. Shannon Walker was born in southwest Houston, where she graduated from Westbury in 1983. She studied physics at Rice, graduating with a BA in physics. She began her professional career with Rockwell Space Operations Company at the Johnson Space Center later that year as a robotics flight controller for the Space Shuttle program. She worked several Space Shuttle missions as a flight controller in the Mission Control Center, including STS-27, 32, 51, 56, 60, 61, and 66. From 1990 to 1993, Walker took a leave of absence to attend grad school, where her area of study was the solar wind interaction with the Venusian atmosphere. She received a Master of Science and a PhD in space physics from Rice University in 1992 and 1993. Good old Texan. Shannon Walker is a good old Texan. 95, she joined NASA. Her astronaut career. She's been to outer space.
Whoa, thank you again, guys. Give me a bunch of ones. Give me a bunch of ones for Brett Ray. Again, supporting Team MPE really means a lot to me, guys. Again, I was getting like over 1 million views a month, and now I'm down to like 100,000. So it's pretty depressing because it took me, about a year to try to build this channel, and then all it takes is one injury, and it just wipes you out. So, Brett, it means a lot that you're supporting my channel big time. You guys are awesome. Anybody who's got a super chat or any kind of donations, I'll put your comments to the front of the line. So as you guys know, I'm covering the never-ending saga of Lane Myers. And this is Lane's take on Shannon Walker, who apparently went into outer space. So this is really interesting. Now, I don't know if she went into outer space. I think that most of these astronauts were low-level orbit, but somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not totally sure what's going on with that, but let's get back into the video.
Way out there. She's so far out there. Do you think she's the most? Would you consider this the most far out Shannon Walker to ever exist? And in her personal life, she's married to a retired NASA astronaut, Andy Thomas. Walker's recreational interests include cooking, soccer, running, weight training, flying, camping, and travel. This great American hero, Shannon Walker, is one let's all celebrate. We have her, Shannon Walker. Cooking, running, graduated, NASA, Dr. Walker. Has a ring to it. Crew 1. Shannon Walker has a variety of leadership positions within the astronaut office, including being the branch chief of Soyuz branch, branch chief of the ISS branch chief of the assigned crew branch, and the supervisor for the 2020. Sounds like she's like the director of development for NASA or something. Oh no, she's currently the deputy chief of the astronaut. Alphas. Pronunciation. Shan. Say it. Repeat after me, people. Shan. On. Walker. Shannon Walker. Sounds like Texas. Shannon Walker. Shannon Walker. U.S. astronaut. Let's watch a video about her.
Yeah, we are, of course, talking about NASA astronaut Dr. Shannon Walker. She took control of the floating lab less than 2 hours ago. KPRC2 space reporter Roseanne Aragon live in the newsroom now with more on all this excitement.
Yeah, Ro, we understand that Walker is also making history today as well. You got that right. It's a huge moment for Space City. Dr. Walker is the first native Houstonian to take command at the International Space Station, and you can bet Space City is proud. April 15th, 2021, a historic day in Space City.
It is truly an honor and a privilege.
The firstborn and raised Houstonian, NASA astronaut Dr. Shannon Walker taking command of the International Space Station.
This amazing orbiting laboratory that we have up here. And, as you say, to carry on the traditions of international cooperation.
Making waves for NASA's Commercial Crew Program, the SpaceX Crew 1 mission specialist flew aboard the Crew Dragon, joining Expedition 64. But what makes her shine so bright here?
We've got a Husky in space, so we are Westbury Huskies here, and we're just so proud.
Beaming.
There's her senior picture right over there. We can see this here in the corner.
Her early resume, science and math club leader and drum major, a star of HISD.
For her to have graduated at Parker Elementary School, Meyerland Middle School, Westbury, and Rice University, and to have a locker here and all these things, it's just an inspiration to our kids.
Dr. Walker got her bachelor's, master's, and PhD in space physics at Rice University.
I figured physics was the basis for just about everything.
Now she's taking on the universe.
We used to say that the sky is the limit for our kids. Now we're going to have to come up with something new.
And you saw there the students had a watch party for the ceremony.
Sky is the limit, kids. Sky is the limit, and you keep it moving on it, moving on it. Sky is the limit, and you know that we keep on moving on. Shannon Walker, NASA astronaut. What a great person this Shannon Walker is. Man. No, I'm not joining. So I hope everyone enjoyed that video about real American hero Shannon Walker.
All right. So somebody fill me in on what's going on with Shannon Walker. I just wanted to catch the last video that Lane filmed without it. The beardless Lane Myers filmed about 12 hours ago. Now, a lot of people are saying there is no International Space Station, well, unless you account for the film studio they have on an island off of Greenland. And of course, we've seen the AI and fake stuff that NASA's been caught doing. So yeah, I have a hard time buying any of that crap. I have a hard time buying that we even went to the moon. It's just unbelievable to me with the technology that could fit into like one of those little watches could have gotten us there. I mean, I know there are landers on the moon, but does that mean that people were on those, or that were they just put there so they could be spotted with the telescope? I mean, you tell me. I have a hard time believing anything. Oh, okay. So Mr. Gold, good seeing you, Mr. Gold. Okay, now I understand. So Lane Myers is not supposed to post videos about Shannon Walker in Tucson. So he found another Shannon Walker to post about. Well, that makes more sense. Man, he is funny. Okay, so that makes more sense. So my understanding is that so Lane had some kind of an altercation with this woman who's I think a leftist law professor, which, is there any other kind of law professor but a leftist one? And apparently her husband, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, is a city attorney in Arizona. And from what I've heard, the husband didn't like it that Lane and her had some kind of a confrontation. Lane's wife apparently was fired from her job as a result of this confrontation that Lane had with this law professor. And so there was a big court hearing. This woman sought a restraining order against Lane. Lane won. And now it appears as though there was some kind of an order that he's supposed to stay away from Shannon or not talk about Shannon. I'm not really sure. But the husband, who's also a city attorney, apparently, and I don't know this to be true. I'm just telling you, apparently referred charges to the county prosecutor and had Lane charged with like 14 felonies or something. And guys, in the sidebar, correct me if I'm wrong. I just want to know. Okay, and Mr. Gold says on the charging report, the police officer listed Lane as her ex-boyfriend. That's pretty wild. Well, hey, who knows? Maybe there's more to this than the eye can see. I'm pretty sure Lane has a whole gaggle of the ladies after him because he's so charismatic, right, guys? Give me a bunch of ones for the charismatic Lane Myers. It was a non-disclosed restraining order, says juror number 13. Well, if it was a non-disclosed restraining order, then that to me would violate due process, right? Because it wouldn't give Lane notice and opportunity to respond or even know if he's got like some order against him. So that's weird to me. Yeah, Mr. Gold says it's all fiction in the police report. It's just the weirdest thing, man. But I remember stuff like this going on all the time back in the 80s and 90s when my buddies and I were fighting traffic violations and winning. And these statist judges didn't like it. And they would do anything they could to make us look bad and try to charge us with failures to appear and warrants, anything they could do to silence us. So I understand how this goes. But I was always a lot more civil. That's one thing with Lane is there's no holds barred with him. He is just like cussing and swearing. And yeah, so that's the only issue that I see with him that probably causes trouble for him is just the increasing the Fahrenheit temperature in the courtroom, especially with these female judges. They can't handle it. It's really hard for them. And I don't know what the answer is, guys. There's a really good book called, I think it's called Understanding Civility. It's an appellate justice actually gave me a copy years ago, and it really helped me a lot to win my cases, because if you're civil and you're kind and courteous and considerate, it completely blindsides your opposition because they're expecting you to act like direct meth, right? They're expecting you to get all crazy like direct meth. And if you don't, and instead you're kind, it crushes them because they don't know how to deal with it. It literally short circuits them. That's just my philosophy. That's how I became a successful attorney, is learning and understanding civility and using it to my advantage, almost like judo, to win. The more they insult you, the more they try to put heat on you, the nicer you are. It's like judo. It really is verbal judo. And you're jury number 13. I think you're right. I think the DOJ should be involved. The problem is these are all the same people that are Obama holdovers. They're statists to a large degree, people who believe, like World Economic Forum, World Health Organization, Bill Gates. They're all the same people. They're all put into power but because they're globalists and they don't really want the Constitution to be the law of the land. So how about that? Think about that before you ask for them to be involved. I believe who should be involved is we, the people. I think that recall elections are probably the only way we're going to change anything. The problem is, again, the secretaries of state, hardcore lefties, especially in Arizona. You really think they're going to give you an accurate or honest count about the recall? I don't know. I don't think so. But yeah, Rami says verbal judo and kung fu. That's right. Yeah, but it's just BlackRock, trying to tell little boys that they're girls, putting tampon machines in the boys' restroom. These are the same people that you would be bringing your case to. So just keep that in mind. Just juror number 13. I don't know that that's necessarily going to make it happen for you. Now, Mr. Gold says they claim that Lane asked people to contact her in the charging report, but another officer says Lane specifically said in the video for people not to contact Walker. Well, yeah, it's probably a BS charge, right? I mean, they're probably trying to say that he's insinuating to contact her by his inflection of saying, don't contact her, right? I get it. I know how the game goes. But I'm going to go as long as I can on this video that was done by... Now, Rami, just take a look at this. See how this is horizontal? What I want to try and do is I want to try and take this. Hold on. Let me make sure this is the right one. Okay. So that's that one. Okay. This is the other one. This is the one that this is a public service did that I'm going to cover today. So you can see how it's like horizontal, and my viewers can like hardly see any of the words, but I want to stay in vertical and not do horizontal because most of my viewers use handhelds, and I'm trying to get the younger crowd to get involved into the patriotic cause of, holding the government accountable, and most of them use their phones. So my idea is to take this and make it vertical so it completely covers like if you were on a handheld, you don't see this little sliver, you see the whole thing up and down. So if anybody's got any ideas to help me do that, I think that's the way to do it. But I just wanted you to kind of like, Rami's like one of my buddies and he's really good at editing. And so I always like throw questions out there. Hey, Grateful Dabs, good seeing you. And Paisano, good seeing you. Dirk the Daring. Yeah, both sides do pull unethical crap, but the problem is Obama really was a hardcore Marxist, and he had absolutely no love for our Constitution or our Bill of Rights. Look, we just saw all of his leftist friends in Congress. They want to eliminate the Electoral College. That's the only thing that makes it fair to we the people. Our founding fathers universally despised democracy for a reason. Ben Franklin said a democracy is when two wolves and a lamb show up for dinner and decide what's on the menu. And a democracy is when a well-armed lamb or a well-armed sheep shows up for dinner and contests the vote. And that's all a democracy is. It's basically the majority rules no matter what. And so you could get a bunch of leftist public school teachers, a bunch of drag queens, and they could decide that boys are girls and girls are boys, and you have no say in it. But with the Electoral College, you do have a say in it because that's what a constitutional republic is all about. It makes sure that the rights of the individual are protected. And so it's super, super important. Democracies universally never last long. They're always a problem. In fact, most democracies devolve into fascist countries like, Russia or the Bolsheviks, right? That's a democracy, right? All power comes from the barrel of a gun. Whoever has the most guns wins. No, not in a republic. So, and juror number 13 says Lane can handle this. Look, I believe he can handle it too. I just think that we need to explore other ways to help him where he's not getting charged with all these felony crimes and stuff. Because, I can't imagine, going to bed at night knowing that I've been charged with a bunch of felonies. That's got to be wearing on him, guys. So, I'm not saying any of this stuff out of spite or out of insult. I'm just thinking about, damn, constantly being charged with felonies and getting attacked. Imagine what that would do to your wife and kids, how they would feel thinking their daddy might be taken away. To me, that's unacceptable. And that's why I'm doing these shows, because I want to expose how the deep state, the administrative state, the Obama state tries to use lawfare to destroy their political enemies. So let's go ahead and listen to what This Is a Public Service has to say. And let's get into it a little bit more. All right. So here we go.
Well, I work with specific, college initiatives and professional relationships, but I'm not a public official. And so in his videos, he often claims that I am a public official, that anyone can come talk to me and I have to see them. I have to speak to them. So not only has he claimed that, he has told his followers that. And yesterday, he actually said, I'm going to the College of Law. It was something that was very upsetting, not only for myself, but now my colleagues are in fear that this person is going to come over because we've had to connect the University of Arizona Police Department and our threat management team who has been following this gentleman. So it's now not only affecting me.
So objection, hearsay, objection assumes facts not in evidence, and also objection calls for an expert opinion and a legal conclusion. My opinion would be if she was a university professor in California or Texas, where I'm licensed to practice law, I would say the fact that she lives off of the taxpayer and she's funded by the state or the county or the city, that makes her, for lack of a better word, a public figure and possibly a public official. So again, for her to just make these legal conclusions without having an expert witness, if I was opposing counsel, I would be making those objections for the record. There's no evidence that she's not a public official, and the burden is on the party asserting. So just making a bunch of statements just because you have a law degree and you're a professor, obviously with very little courtroom experience, I think that a properly trained judge confronted with the proper objections would overrule that evidence, or at least not take that evidence into consideration, or consider it with very light authority. Here we go.
But my people I work with, and obviously we have our personal relationship. I don't have anything to do with this, so I don't know why this is even happening.
Well, I'm very sorry that is going on.
Not your fault, but I appreciate that.
It's difficult. So I am going to go ahead and grant the injunction against harassment. I do need to get some statements from you under oath. Now, obviously, to grant an injunction of harassment, there needs to be a series of events, and you have definitely listed on your order.
Now, by the way, guys, this is really interesting because originally there was a hearing before a male judge, and the male judge denied this protection. So typically, I'm a little confused. Somebody help me in the comments. I'm a little confused because if another judge, male or female, ruled against her, how was she able to get 2 bites at the same apple? What happened that made it possible for her to go before another judge, who I think a lot of people are alleging has a relationship with the moving party, Miss Walker or Mrs. Walker? So I just would like to know what's going on. Okay, so Mr. Gold says it was a different person at a different hearing, right? But so typically, I would file a motion to set aside the order. I would file a motion for reconsideration if I was in California or Texas. So I'm a little confused as to how she's able to go before another judge and then, without presenting any admissible evidence, and I don't see that Lane is even there, get a restraining order, a protective order against Lane. And how is it that Lane got the proper notice to even know what the charges were or the findings of the order were? I don't hear him. Typically, if Lane's at a hearing, you're going to know that he's there. So I have to assume that this was being done in absentia of Lane, that Lane wasn't there. Unless there's a muzzle on him, there's no way he's not objecting and going bananas. So I'm really confused as to how this happened. I'm hoping that one of you guys can help me understand. Okay. So Mr. Gold says that hearing was not related to Shannon Walker. Okay, got it. All right. Again, guys, look, I apologize. I don't know everything about what's going on. I've been incommunicado. I've been ill for at least the last 3 weeks. So, but either way, I don't hear Lane there. So this is just all weirdness. Yep. So Grateful Dab says he wasn't there for, how could I have guessed that he wasn't there for that hearing? But either way, you hear that the judge is really happy. It sounds like an ex parte emergency hearing where the judge issues the ruling, but it should only be temporary, like a temporary restraining order. And that would give Lane an opportunity to come back and oppose it at a later date, but he still would have to be on notice of the terms and conditions of the restraint. And so you guys tell me. I mean, I'm learning more from my audience than you're learning from me at this point. I just want to cover it, and we'll just keep going. So here we go.
Protection, a series of events, so you do qualify in that. I do need to ask you, though, are the statements in this petition, are they true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And you've explained that you really don't know the defendant. You've never met him personally?
No. One of his claims, I only know what he has said to me. We have never even spoken. I've never met him in person. I've never had a direct conversation with him. I only know the messages that I receive or the videos. One of his claims is that I think he has assumed, because my work often is with members of the judiciary, apparently he had a significant other who was a federal law clerk and lost her position as a result of, I don't know if it's his videos, but it seems like that was some sort of factor. And he
Okay, so really quick, I just want to, I just got a message I saw from Rami. Let me just read this to you. Shannon Walker is the Director of Development at James E. Rogers College of Law. She oversees the alumni engagement, donor relations, and philanthropic initiatives. Now, hold on. Grateful Dab says, play the new arrangement from the recent video. Can you guys drop me the link really quick? Because I'll cut to the chase to get you guys more educated about what's going on. I'd like to see that. Can somebody just drop me the link to the recent arraignment? So it looks like there was a law professor, though, where this all started. Correct me if I'm wrong. And somehow Shannon Walker got involved. I'm not totally sure what's going on. This one is a joke, but we need to hear the new arraignment. Okay. It's a joke. Oh. Okay, she changed it so she could get her children off the petition. A student becomes the master of the master. Yeah, that happens all the time, dude. So Grateful Deb. Okay, cool. All right. Let me just really quick, guys, work with me here. I'm not running on all my cylinders the last couple days. I've been in a real tough situation. So hold on. All right, I'm going to open this bad chicken up, as Chili would say. Now, by the way, I still haven't paid for the what do they call that? I still haven't paid for the commercial free, so we may, my credit card got stolen or lost or whatever, so I'm just going to play this thing, and it's like 19 minutes. Let's go.
See what? Yes, if you're that way, you're
So it sounds like it's an audio tape of a hearing. So can you guys hear it?
Where's Rachel? Rachel's sitting over there. I'll have a couple other people. Let me show you this though. Where'd you go?
Can you guys hear it just with me on the screen? So at least you don't just have a black screen. Let me know. Give me a bunch of ones if you can still hear it. Okay, it takes a little while for it to start. Okay, hold on, let me see.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have to have all participants seated.
I'm going to go forward a little bit. Give me a second, guys.
You filed the motion that you want to present yourself. You filed that one, didn't you? That's all right here. You didn't. I served. You didn't.
I hear him talking.
I thought I'd do it here in the court.
20 seconds. Hold on. There it is. He's calling him right now.
Grateful silence for the state. Your Honor, the victim is present.
This is William Parvin. I've been appointed to represent Mr. Myers. However, Mr. Myers would like to file a motion to represent himself.
So I got
I'm
it.
not sure exactly where
You
to
can
file
read
that.
along.
File this court today, or if he has to go downstairs.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Myers.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
This is the time set for your arraignment. We're going to proceed with your arraignment first, and then I'll talk to you about your motion. So is your true name Lane Jeffrey Myers?
You want to sit down?
You can be seated.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. On the document there in front of you that your attorney has with the criminal charges filed against you, we are going to enter pleas of not guilty on your behalf. I am going to appoint.
Now, just so you guys know, like as a lawyer, I just want to teach you guys some stuff. You never refer to the judge as sir or ma'am. It's your honor. It's considered to be disrespectful. And so when I first started practicing law, my background being a United States Marine, we always refer to female officers as ma'am and male officers as sir. So it took me years to not, because I look at a judge as an officer. They're an officer of the court. In the Marine Corps, you look at officers like they're some kind of a god. You're taught that because you have to unflinchingly be able to obey orders when you're being shot at. Otherwise, you're going to get your whole unit killed. So I got in a lot of trouble for that and got threatened by a lot of female judges with the short, buzz haircuts, purple hair look. They didn't like that. I never could really understand. So it was kind of weird, but I just want you guys to know that's a little thing that I think is important to know, because the more you act like a seasoned attorney, even if you're pro se, the more difficult it is for a judge or a spiteful prosecutor to be able to lay waste to you or your arguments. Remember, at the end of the day, judges are political creatures of the political class, and recall elections are very powerful. And remember, everybody who's watching the hearing, most people, especially the swing voters, are going to be like more what they would call reasonable people. And if they see that you're behaving reasonably, it's more likely than not that they're going to rule in your favor. And so at the end of the day, look, I 1,000,000%, support you doing whatever the hell you want. And I'm going to support you to the end because I believe in the First Amendment. But I also understand basic civility in the way that basic humans think. And I know that people who are violent, argumentative, name callers, and all that stuff, they alienate themselves. And that makes it harder ultimately for them to win. And so my job is to defend you to the end, to make sure you could do that. But also, because of you're part of Team MPE, I want to make sure that you at least understand the big picture. And my goal here is to score a victory for you and your family, where you can be remembered. Your name will be remembered as like a William Wallace, right? I want to have that for you. I want you to get some kind of a victory without having your body having be gutted and thrown to all the different corners of the reef. But yeah, okay. So let me just look at the comments here. So I have Mr. Gold says, yes, Lane, the victim, was present. Yes, sir. Mike, juror number 13 says, why do they get called your honor? They're not being honorable. Well, and Pisano, some of them aren't. There's no question about it. Justin Knighton says, Lane offends all they hold dear, their law degree, right? You guys know I don't really think much of law school, so I became a lawyer with no law degree or undergrad. And then I was invited into the University of West Los Angeles. They waived my first year classes and they waived the LSAT. So I got my Juris Doctorate, and when I was graduated, they graduated me as Michael Ehline Esquire. I was the first practicing attorney to ever graduate from UWLA. In fact, I think I'm the first practicing attorney in the history of California to graduate from any law school as a California barred-in attorney. So I was already a practicing lawyer when I got my law degree. So I don't really have a lot of, I just think most of the education system is run by hardcore Marxists. The professors are hardcore lefties. And I think that it's just a government-run, institutionalized brainwashing to a large degree. They don't want intelligent people. They want people that they can control. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. I think if you're like a Lane Myers or you're like a reluctant prophet, you're you're coming after you, because just like King George didn't want to have colonists like Adam Smith or Samuel Adams, they're the enemy. And guys like reluctant prophet, Lane Myers, and even Chili de Castro, they are the modern Paul Revere's. They are the modern Sam Adams. They are the modern Ben Franklins. They're all different. They all Jeffersons. Look, Jefferson and Hamilton didn't get along that well, but yet they agreed on the key things, which is that all of our rights come from a creator, not from the state. That natural law, John Locke. So just because I can't agree with you guys on everything, Rami and I go at it sometimes. All you guys, if we all agreed with each other on everything, we'd be no better than the Obama people. We'd be no better than the Biden people. We'd be no better than the Klaus Schwabs and the World Economic Forum people. We have to be different. We have to be unique. That's what made America such a special place, is that we're not communist China, where we're like the Borg, right? We had the separation of powers. We had the states' rights. Separate from the federal. All of our states are considered to be countries under the Constitution. I mean, so many amazing things I want to cover with you guys. Just really quick before I get back into the show, I went to the doctor to get some shots, steroid injections for my herniated disc, and so my wife took me, and we're waiting for like 3 hours. There's nowhere to sit because they have it packed with all these silver-haired old people in the lobby. And so obviously I'm not going to take a seat from one of them anyways, because I'm a real man. I don't care. They're my elders, and I respect them. So I go in my car and put the seat back so I could lay down. I put a pillow under my back to give me an arch. And then I'm told it's going to take another hour before they can see me. So I canceled my appointment, got a refund. By the way, they want to charge me, Obama's free healthcare, $500 deductible, right? So I'm paying thousands of dollars for my free healthcare. And yeah, I'm covered by the VA, but if I had gone to the VA, it would have probably taken 2 or 3 days for me to get a pain shot. So right now I'm riding dirty, as they say. I don't have anything other than some pregabalin or whatever they call it. So it's been rough, guys. I just want you guys to know what's going on. So okay, so Arthur Claremont says we would not grow if we all agreed. That's right, man. I mean, we can't all agree. That's why I hate political parties, because they force you to agree on everything. And that's something that I appreciate about Trump, is that I know most of you guys hate him. Maybe half you guys love him in my audience. But what I appreciate about him is he reminds me of an old school Democrat, like what I am. I'm an original Democrat before the pedophiles and the communists took over the Democrat Party, right? And I believe in compassion and all that, but I don't believe in burning the flag simultaneously. So that's the only real thing that I could say that's different. Yeah. So let me see here. Anyways, so Mr. Gold says this judge ignored most of what the prosecutor asked for. May not be clear in the hearing, but the judge just ignored the prosecutor's demand. Don't even think she took time to say no to them, just ignored them. Look, I don't know, Mr. Gold. Like I said, if I was in a position where I could follow this more, I would. But I know that, just like I told a good friend of mine this morning over the phone, if we don't hang together, we will surely hang separately. So it's really, really important to me that I cover this, even though when I do cop watch videos, I'll get 1,000 viewers, and today I've only got like 44. That tells you how much YouTube thinks of this stuff. I mean, there should be thousands of people watching this right now. But let's go ahead and keep listening to what happened so we can understand the indictment heard around the world.
Pack attorney William Parvin to represent you for now. I'm going to assess $400 in attorney's fees.
$400 in attorney's fees were assessed.
Your case management conference, April 15th at 9 a.m. And then your pretrial conference is set May 16th at 9 a.m.
May 16th at 9 a.m.
Judge Doug Metcalf, Division 16.
Judge Metcalf in Division 16 is going to hear this case. If he fails to appear, a warrant will be issued for his arrest. And they'll have a trial in absentia. Interesting.
If that trial and cannot be sentenced within 90 days, you could lose your right to a direct appeal.
He could lose his right to not be sentenced.
Mr. Myers, because I am not your
right to an
trial
appeal.
judge, I'm going to ask you to.
So just so you guys know, I want to, here's another thing I could probably share with you. So that is an ancient common law doctrine. It's called the fugitive disentitlement doctrine. So if you make yourself absent from justice, you don't have the right to complain when you're tried in absentia, and you don't have the right of appeal. You can't appeal a case from afar. You have to bring yourself before the court. Now, you can challenge jurisdiction. You could make a, you could make a like a special appearance to challenge jurisdiction, but that would just to create a record on appeal. It doesn't mean that you can't just like let the case go forward and not fight it, right? So that's a problem that I have with a lot of the sovereign citizen guys. They don't understand It's like, yeah, you can challenge it and stuff, but you still need to fight it and create a record on appeal. That's and my background is in appellate law. I was an extern for the California Court of Appeal. In fact, I think I'm the only lawyer in the history of the state of California to have extern for the Court of Appeal or any higher court who's on the law study program. So kind of proud of myself for that. It's something I always like to remind my kids, like it's a big deal. You can make something of yourself. You come from humble beginnings and you can make something of yourself. All right. So let's get back into this.
File any motions that you have with your trial judge, which is Doug Metcalf, Division 16. I am also going to set a status conference next week in his division for your motion to proceed pro se.
Thank
That'll
you.
be, March 20th
After I file it, right?
Yeah. So March 20th,
at 1:30 p.m.
he has to file an opposition prior to that. I'm going to try to help you speak,
Thank you.
Lifegarden.
Do I need to file it ahead of time or bring it with me there?
I'll let you talk to your attorney
All right.
about that.
Thank you.
I think you can still file on the second floor of criminal cases. I use the online system, but I don't think you're set up for that.
No.
So go to the second floor and file everything and tell them where it needs to go.
Okay.
Judge.
All right. Good.
Yeah, that's another issue.
What is it?
Another problem that I have too with the court system is typically in a lot of states, attorneys, officers of the court have the ability to file documents online, but pro per litigants don't. And so I think that is a violation. I think that if you are representing yourself, you should be afforded the same deference as if you were an attorney. Other than the protections that are recognized under Balistreri versus Pacifica Police Department, which is that pro se litigants are are not held to the same standards when it comes to civil procedural issues. If you make a mistake in the procedural rules, the court can't hold that against you to such a high degree as they would a lawyer. Like I could get my whole case tanked, but just because you lack the understanding of all the different civil procedural rules, the courts can't just like toss your case. Now, substantively, you can't make a mistake, and that's why being pro per or pro se is dangerous. But so far, Elaine's been right on the law. I haven't seen him make any mistakes on the law. I think that it was wise of him to get a lawyer for this. And notice that Lane is behaving a lot more civil. So this is the way that I would want my friends and family to behave, because there's a time for the cussing and the swearing and calling the judge by their first name, but not when you're headed towards the gallows. You know what I mean? It's a problem, and I care about people, and I just don't want this guy to suffer. So don't think that I'm insulting him or anything like that. That's not my goal at all. My goal is to try to help people, because it's a rare season that you find a true patriot who actually knows what they're talking about. I mean, most of these people are like, oh, you're BAR, that means British Accreditation Registry. Like, I've done a video on that. That's total bullshit. There's no such thing. You guys got to stop listening to the Freeman of Montana and all these idiots in the sovereign citizen movement. For the most part, they have no idea what they're talking about. BAR goes back to the ancient times when lawyers were trained at a castle that was once owned by the Knights Templar outside the gates of London. And so there's a couple of theories. One of them is the chain that went across the castle bridge, they would call the bar. And the other one is simply there was a bar because remember, all lawyers were trained. There were no law schools. So they were trained the same way that Masons were trained. Okay. So if you wanted to become a lawyer, you would become a squire to a knight. Your lawyer would basically be the equivalent of a knight. And you would study under that lawyer. You would follow him to court. You would sweep out the law office at night. You would cook and clean right at the barracks. They would have basically what amounts to a barracks for the students. And you would have your commanding officers, which would be the lawyers or a judge. And when you would eat in the dining hall, there was a bar that separated the judges and the lawyers from the apprentices. This is the real thing. I'm just telling you guys so you understand, because that's the way I became a lawyer. I became a lawyer in the traditional way. And that ultimately evolved into become what's called the Inns of Court system, the Inns of Court. And most of our founding fathers who were lawyers became lawyers under the Inns of Court system. Okay. And so, anyways, the bar also then became recognized under the King's Bench and other common law principles that it was the bar that separated the commoners from the legally trained. And so ultimately, when the judge and your lead counsel, the attorneys that were training you, felt that you were ready to become a lawyer, you would put your I think you'd put your right hand on the Bible, because it was always, you never raised your right hand, by the way. You put your right hand on the Bible and you'd raise your left hand. A lot of people don't know that, but it's true. And you would promise, you wouldn't swear, because you can't swear by heaven, for it is his kingdom, and you can't swear by earth, for it is his footstool. The Bible is very clear. You're not supposed to take the Lord's name in vain, and swearing is taking the Lord's name in vain. This comes from ancient law, ancient common law. And common law simply means law of the common man, by the way. It's not some like amazing, esoteric thing. It's really what it means. So anyways, you would make your promise. And then if the judges, they would ask you questions, they would cross-examine you. And if they felt, and by the way, these are guys who had eaten with you. They'd heard you make arguments in court. I tried 3 cases as second chair, as a certified law student myself before I became a lawyer. Had done a lot of depositions as well. As long as there was a supervising attorney present, I could do that. And so I had practical application experience. And that's the beauty of actually the law study or the Inns of Court system, is that you actually have an opportunity to see what it's like to be a lawyer. Whereas most of these other guys are just trained in the rainbow flag mafia, educational establishment that's basically government run, which is going to crank out lawyers like Obama, right? So basically, if they feel that you are qualified to pass the bar, you can walk forward and pass the bar. That was called passing the bar. It has nothing to do with British accreditation registry. It's complete bullshit. You guys who think that are people who are not intelligent, because if you were intelligent, you would do the research and find out for yourself. And that's my earnest opinion. So let's get into, Arthur Claremont says, that's why the Judge King drank vodka, the bar. That's probably true. Look, I think everybody drank vodka and alcohol back then because all the water was poison. I think that babies were given beer to drink over water. They didn't understand the concept of boiling water to kill the disease, right? So people that drank the water would get sick and die. Now, Mr. Gold says, Arizona law requires attorney for felony arraignment. Only reason one was there. Lane is going to go pro se later. Very interesting. Thank you, Mr. Gold. Guys, give me a bunch of ones for Mr. Gold agreeing to jump in today and help me understand what happened here. This is really nice to have him here. So guys, make sure to like and subscribe to Mr. Gold's channel too. Super cool dude. Very patriotic guy. I have it on good authority that he's a good man. So let me just see here. Britt Rhea says he counts 200 people. I only see 38 people, man. But if you see 200, that's awesome. But we should have thousands of people in here because this is important business. This is important for people to understand what's going on. So let's get back into the video, which is really just an audio recording of the hearing.
Serve copies, you told me.
Yep, on to Rachel.
And then also give 1 copy to the chambers of Judge Micklett. They'll talk on the first floor how to do that.
Okay.
By the way, there is
Status conference regarding a petition to proceed pro se is March 20th at 1:30 p.m. and that is in Division 16. And then we also need to set conditions of release before we talk about that.
Conditions of release.
Mr. Myers, you are ordered to report for fingerprinting and photograph on the 7th floor. You can do that before your first case management, or you can do that today.
7th floor.
So basically, just based on the word of another person, right, without a trial, he is being ordered to fingerprint himself, which I believe, as a lawyer, I would fight that under the 4th Amendment. But but basically giving him conditions for his release as if he was on parole or probation. Now, I don't know if he was on parole or probation, but typically this is the harsh punishment they give someone who's entered a plea bargain in another case. By the way, this is why I'm not a big proponent of plea bargains, because in a plea bargain, you basically agree to a lesser included offense, but if you violate the terms and conditions of your parole or probation, they can double whammy you, right? And they can hold everything else against you as a prior included offense, which gives them the possibility of a sentence enhancement. That's why these people that are short timers in jail, and they say, hey, we'll let you out a month early, but you have to agree to 20 years parole or probation. I would advise my client to stay in jail, because that dog doesn't hunt, man. Especially if you're going to stay in the same town and you already have a beef, or the local law enforcement has a beef against you, you're going back in with a sentence enhancement next time. So these are just little things that I've learned over the years that I wanted to share with y'all. But anyways, let's get back into it.
Does the state wish to be heard regarding the? Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state is asking for a $25,000 bond and pretrial services released if that is posted. We're also asking for numerous.
So you guys get that. The prosecutor's office wants $25,000 bond. So I think that literally means they want $25,000 cash. Typically with a bail, like if you have $100,000 bail and they ask for a 10% bond, you'd have to come up with $10,000 bond. So you'd have to put up your property or something of equal value, like the title to your car. It's no joke, man. Let's keep going.
Conditions of any release. And I'm going to go through under Rule 7.2 of the Arizona rules that the release conditions, somebody is to be released on recognizance unless the court determines additional conditions are reasonably.
So normally this would be OR, on recognizance, but the prosecutor is saying that there are times, extenuating circumstances, which obviously the prosecutor wants to throw at Lane. By the way, I think it was smart for Lane to shave his beard because psychologically it's proven that people with beards and mustaches are deemed to be less trustworthy. That there's studies about this. Just think about that. Isn't that wild? I don't know how that goes in Muslim countries because they all have beards, but at least in the U.S., having a beard and a mustache, more people think you're less trustworthy. Give me a bunch of ones if you guys know about that study, or you can show me the link.
Necessary to assure the defendant's appearance or to protect the victim, any other person, or the community from.
So they're trying to say he's a threat to the victim. So they're trying to say that he's probably a threat to the victim, and that he might harm someone, right? So that's why they want the bond.
And so we are asking for additional conditions.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded.
I got to figure out how to get. All right. So again, guys, that's the problem. I got to throw up my new credit card on here to get the the commercial free crap, but I'll get you. Hold on. I apologize for that, by the way. Here we go. At least it hasn't been too bad. I'll back it up a little bit. So to protect the victim and anyone else in the community from harm, this prosecutor wants a bond, it looks like.
By the defendant. And so we are asking for additional conditions. In this case, we're asking for no contact with the victim.
No contact order.
Protect her from physical harm, harassment, intimidation, or abuse. The court can also order additional conditions, including to protect another person or the community from risk of harm from the defendant.
And who is that
We
person?
believe that a non-monetary condition is not sufficient, so we're also asking for the monetary.
So the argument is Lane will be less likely to harm this fictitious person or other victim if Lane has to pay $25,000. That's the argument. It's kind of weird. Like if I was going to harm somebody, I'd pay $1 million if I had to harm them. I'm just saying. So I don't see how that's going to help. But that's the argument. I don't see a cogent legal argument. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But let's get into it.
condition of the $25,000 bond. That's both for the reason that Mr. Myers is facing mandatory prison time if he's convicted of these offenses. He does have prior felony convictions that, while older, will make him prison mandatory even on the first felony offense and each subsequent felony
Mandatory
offense,
prison.
mandatory prison time. These are also offenses that can be stacked, so he's facing a large amount of time.
So she's basically saying that he's facing a ton of time, like what looks like 40 years in prison. So he needs to pay money. Basically, they just want to get money from him.
Also, he has had an injunction against harassment on him already, and so he's been court-ordered not to have contact with this victim. Yet, in spite of that, he has continued to have contact with her, reach out to her, ask for third parties to reach out to her. He has been posting.
Okay, what evidence is there of that? Like, if I was the attorney, I would be objecting. Objection assumes facts, not an evidence. Where is the sworn declaration? Where is the verifiable proof that I have been trying to reach her or contact her? Now, if he's been posting things on the internet, it almost sounds like a prior restraint on speech to disallow him from doing that. But I want to hear, so far I have not heard any objections, which I would be objecting profusely to all these comments.
About this case, he has been bringing attention to her, which has been subjecting her to harassment.
I'm saying objection assumes facts, not an evidence. Objection, vague, ambiguous, and unintelligible as to what you mean by harassment. You see where I'm going with this, guys? You have to create your record for an appeal.
And intimidation. Mr. Myers himself, even after receiving the summons in this case, reached out again through an email he sent to the victim in this case. He again was online talking about this case, drawing attention on that post. That the posting was done by a third party, but he did participate in that post and was online.
Okay, so I don't really know what the rule was or what the ruling or the order was, but look, the First Amendment's pretty powerful stuff. And everything that she's saying right now is presumptive. It's not evidence. But I don't hear any objections. And so just like Marbury versus Madison, right? Rights not claimed are considered waived. This is why it's really, really important for you guys. Look, I think if you're going to do pro per or pro se stuff, I think the most important thing for you to learn are the rules of evidence and how to do objections. Now, when I was studying law, I had this really cool, it was like a little CD-ROM or a little floppy, whatever it was back then. I'm ancient now, but it had like this judge, and it would have like the prosecutor, it was civil and criminal, asking questions. And then I would have like 2 or 3 seconds to do multiple choice, like what, A, B, C, D, or whatever, to determine what objection I should be making or what series of objections that I should be making. And that was really helpful. So I think that you guys, if you really want to learn the law, one of the best things you could do is watch my breakdowns of depositions where I make my objections to questions that are asked. And also to look at that, I'll try to find one of those discs for y'all so you can understand better how to make the proper objections. But it's really, really important to make objections. Now, Mr. Gold says, even without objections, the judge didn't grant all that stuff. Think there was body language. The judge just wasn't going to do all that. Yeah, well, probably not. I mean, this is pretty over the top. I mean, someone's got a YouTube channel, right? And I don't know. It just all seems like it's a little bit of what we call overreach. Yes, right on. So Grateful Dab says he's filing a slap motion. Now, I've never heard of a slap motion being done in a criminal case. But before I heard Elaine Myers, I didn't hear of a lot of things that you could do in a criminal case. So that's why I've really got my eye on Lane, because he has done things that I didn't even think you could do. And I've got over 20 years experience as a lawyer. And I'm not like most lawyers that you're going to meet. I don't try and tell you that I know everything, because I don't. And I learn more from my audience and from attending court and just watching and listening than I do from law books or trying to pretend like I know stuff. That's a problem with a lot of attorneys. I think they teach you in law school that even if you're wrong, you have to act like you're right. And I get that. Being confident is one thing, but being reckless and unbending and dogmatic is another. And so that's something you won't hear from me. So Yeah, usurpation of powers, Brett says. Yeah, no kidding, man. All right, let's keep on listening to this bad chicken.
In that post, it posted again the victim's email address. It was asking for people to reach out.
So again, the prosecutor is saying that Lane posted the victim's email address and all this other stuff. But again, number one, assumes facts that was a violation of any order. And number two, lacks foundation. I mean, where's the videotape? Where is the authenticated videotape that doesn't break the chain of custody? So this is really important stuff, guys. Like this is ripe for an appeal, but you've got to make the objections.
Her husband is also subject to that. And so we are asking for these release conditions of not just non-monetary conditions, but monetary. As far as the non-monetary conditions.
Now, also, I don't know about you guys, but how is making him pay $25,000 going to stop him from doing any of this stuff? It just, I don't see any, it lacks foundation. There's no substance to any of this prosecutor's arguments. And so this is a thing that I've seen in my 20 years of practicing law in California and Texas, is that these young, freshly graduated law students, they just make arguments, but they don't have substance. And so to me, it lacks credibility. And what scares me is that the vast majority of judges on the bench went through that same job. They were prosecutors with very little experience, knowledge, or skill. They make absurd arguments, and somehow or another, they get appointed to the bench. So this is something that all of us should be scared of. And that's why I want my audience to know the law and mean to keep it well. Start by reading Blackstone's commentaries on the English law. Learn about John Locke. Try to read Thomas Aquinas if you can. Most people can't understand anything he says, but Aquinas is one of my heroes. And he talks about you have to know the law and mean to keep it well. And it's so really good stuff. These are all like the founders of modern natural law theory. And they're definitely people. Hey, Christopher, I'm not doing too hot, bro. I'm in a lot of pain right now. Oh, check it out. Mr. Gold says Arizona law allows for SLAPP for criminal cases, and you get back legal fees too. Well, hold on a minute. Now, I know from California and Texas, the only way you get your attorney's fees, I don't know about legal fees, is if a lawyer represents you, and the lawyer is the one that did the work. If you do your own work as a pro per litigant, you don't get attorney's fees because you're not an attorney. So that, I don't know how it is in Arizona, guys. I don't profess to know, but I am trying to get waived into Arizona as we speak. So yeah, that's kind of where it's at. Well, okay, Grateful Debs. That again, Walker will have to pay all his fees when he wins. Okay, but that again, that is based upon whether or not Arizona law doesn't have an exclusion for non-attorneys. Typically, you only get your attorney's fees. There's a difference between legal fees and attorney's fees, all right? Legal fees could be the cost to file a motion, a couple $100, whatever. But I'm pretty sure as a criminal defendant, you don't have that. I'm pretty sure those are waived, right? I don't think you have to pay a filing fee to defend yourself. That would only be civilly. But an attorney's fee means you have to be a licensed, accredited attorney to get those fees. So just be careful. I mean, because I don't know what Arizona says about all that, but I would definitely be getting that practice guide and looking that up, criminal practice and procedure. And look, I'm not poo-pooing anything. I don't want to argue with anyone about it. I've been proven wrong a million times. I'm just telling you, be careful about making blanket statements before you know exactly what the rules are. Now Mr. Gold says he's pro se, but he will get attorney's fees paid to the advising. Well, that's assuming that the advising attorney is the one who filed the paperwork or the SLAPP motion, right? So if the advising attorney, if this was California or Texas, if his name was on the SLAPP, you're right, attorney's fees would be payable. So the one way he could do it is he could have his name as well as his attorney's name on that motion. But if his name's on it pro per, I have a hard time believing he'll be entitled to any attorney's fees. So it takes the teeth out. And that was the argument that I had with Judge Ball. I was like, man, if I was him, I would hire even if it was like a freaking, backdoor pawn shop attorney, just get an attorney's name on those pleadings, right? And then maybe I would work as the paralegal or something and help that attorney prepare that stuff if I was Lane, so I could get them attorney's fees. You know what I'm saying? So I just want you guys to not look at all this stuff like it's in a vacuum. There are other things outside the course and scope of reality that you have to think about. Let's keep listening.
We are asking for him to not possess any firearms in the most recent.
No, my understanding is that Lane, and again, because I don't want to be accused of defamation, but I have heard that he is a prior felon, and I believe that most felony counts disentitle you from having or possessing firearms. And based on what I've seen about Lane, I don't see him as a violent guy, and I don't even think that he likes firearms. He may support the Second Amendment, but he's not somebody that I think really would even have a firearm. Give me a bunch of ones if you think Lane has firearms. Give me a bunch of twos if you think that he is like one of these nonviolent kind of Gandhi types. I've seen him with like the Gandhi beads and all that stuff. I know the type. I think that he's somebody who doesn't believe in that kind of stuff. I think that he really values human life. I think he's a good guy. Let's keep going.
We talked about wanting to get a firearm. Given the safety risk in this case, we are concerned if he were to get a firearm. We're asking again that for the no contact with the victim. We're asking for no contact with the victim's family, including no contact through any third party. We're asking for him not to be able to access the internet. He has been actively using the internet as a way to harm this victim, to harm other people, to intimidate any potential witnesses, to intimidate.
So this whole thing about we don't want him to use the internet. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, this reminds me of like, I don't know, King George, the revolution. You're not allowed to engage in free speech. You're not allowed to defend yourself publicly. Now, on the downside, okay, where I would tend to agree with what this argument, not because I agree with the state, but as a lawyer, I don't want my client saying jack shit. I don't want my client saying anything, because like Abe Lincoln said, it's better to be silent and be considered a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. Now, I have to assume that there are a lot of people on the jury who could be, lying just to get on the jury. And if they see him saying stuff that they disagree with, they may just have it in for him. Like these guys that are vandalizing the Teslas, right? The George Soros bought and paid for activists, right? The blue-haired mafia, the rainbow flag mafia, paid for by the Obama World Health Organization, World Economic Forum types. Do you really think that they would tell the truth and say, oh no, I would never look on the internet. Oh no, I would never do anything unbiased during voir dire proceedings? Of course not. So because I know that as a lawyer, I would want my client to like not say anything and just like let me handle it, because I would just assume anything that my client does say can and will be used against him. Remember 1 Adam 12 or Dragnet, anything you say can be will used against you. I just assume that. So just think about that, guys. It's scary. This is scary, scary stuff. Now, and Mr. Gold says he does not own a weapon. Yeah, I believe that. And I don't believe weapons are violent, though. I mean, I'm a big time Second Amendment guy. I think that the person who wields the weapon might be the violent one. But I think if someone comes after me and they're violent, you better damn well believe I'm going to return fire. Give me a bunch of ones if that's how you feel too. And I'm more than capable of doing that. So let's keep on listening, guys.
Intimidate judges, to intimidate prosecutors. He has been posting, asking for people to go to people's homes and to go to their workplace.
So hold on. She's saying that he has been posting, asking for people to go to people's homes. Okay. Look, I haven't seen all of Lane's videos, but I've never, ever seen him say, go to this person's home or go to this person's house. I've never heard him say that. So I would definitely object. Assumes facts, not evidence, argumentative. In fact, I would move to have this person disqualified from making these statements. In California, I would try to call the prosecutor as a hostile witness under 776. I would say, look, this prosecutor is now testifying as a witness and not as a prosecutor. There is no evidence that my client has done any of this stuff. This is absurd. I would like to have an in-camera hearing. I would like to approach Your Honor. This is being audio recorded. It's going to be published by the media. And this prosecutor is tainting the jury against my client. That's how I would handle this. I'm just telling you guys. Like, I would not allow this in a million freaking years. This is ridiculous. Let's keep going.
places and to reach out to them. So I believe any further access he has to the internet will put people at harm. He can go, even if he represents himself, to the law library and be able to access what he needs to be able to do legal research. We would ask if the
So they don't even want him to be able to use the internet at all. They want to bar him from using the internet. So let's say you have Westlaw. They want to burden him. They want to take, oh, this is crazy. Check this out. So here's the argument. This is a dude who's not rich. All right. His channel's not even monetized. I think he does butcher stuff because I've seen him like with a chef's outfit on. Maybe he's a chef or a butcher or something like that. I heard him saying that he makes kangaroo or something. Like maybe he's a gourmet chef, does kangaroo, cooks kangaroo meat. But this guy doesn't have a lot of money. You know, you can tell he doesn't. He's just one of these guys who just is a patriot, right? So they want to make sure that they take 25 grand from him, and they want him to have to like take an Uber probably or ride his bike to the law library, right? Now, if I'm his attorney, I am going to be going bananas. Your Honor, this is an undue burden. This is going to prevent my client from preparing an adequate defense. This is crazy. I object. There's no evidence that's been presented here today that's valid, that's authenticated, that any of the things the prosecutor is saying is true. This is going to prevent my client from preparing an adequate defense, and it's going to make it more likely than not that this case, if there is a conviction, will be reversed on appeal, Your Honor. This is absurd. Telling my client that he can't use the internet? That's crazy. This is a crazy woman making these arguments. She should not even be allowed to practice law. I mean, that's, you know, I would probably say that to myself. I probably wouldn't say that to the judge, but you know what I'm saying. Let's keep going.
The court's not willing to just do no access to the internet, that he not be allowed on social media, or to request third parties to post anything on social media regarding this case. We are asking that he not have any contact with anyone at the U of A School of Law, that anybody he contacts at that.
So no contact with the school.
He has been going to her place of employment and reaching out.
Now, I don't know. What if the law library is at the U of A School of Law? How is he going to be able to do that? I mean, as soon as he walks in, the law librarian, right? That's going to be an employee of the school. That's kind of weird.
Those people and talking to them is part of an intimidation.
Those people, part of intimidation strategy.
People there are feeling uncomfortable and unsafe because of.
Well, guess what? Feeling uncomfortable is part of being an American. This isn't Canada, all right? So feeling uncomfortable and having a First Amendment is what makes us different than the United Kingdom. Look what happens when you don't have. Look what happens when you don't have a First Amendment. Look at the UK. They flooded their country with people from, like, basically jihadis, right? People who hate the locals. They flooded their country with these people who hate them. They immediately go on welfare and have like 30 or 40 kids, right? A lot of them engage in what do they call that when you reproduce with your sister or your brother? Very common in sub-Saharan Africa. So the IQ of these people is like -20, -30, right? So they immediately go on government assistance. They don't work because they say their religion says they don't have to. And anybody who talks about it or says anything about it is automatically thrown in prison right now in London or the United Kingdom. Two-tier care made that possible. So keep that in mind. That's what makes us different. We're not Canada. We have the right to speak up. If your feelings are hurt, that's a personal problem. Grow a pair. That's part of being an American. If you don't like it, move to Canada, lady. That's what I would say. That would be my argument. Incest. That's right, F. That's right. Let's keep going.
His targeting of those, and we would ask also for that to be that no third person or third party can do that on his behalf either. We're asking again for him not to have any contact with the city prosecutor's office regarding Matthew Walker, or for him to go through a third party, because again, he's been targeting Matthew Walker, who's the spouse of the victim, and been targeting his office. Obviously, if he has a legitimate purpose outside of just asking people to reach out to Matthew Walker, that would be separate, but to not have any contact with him. And we're also asking that he not be able to disseminate any of the disclosure in this case. Mr. Myers did contact me and sent me an email where he indicated that was exactly what he wanted to do, wanted to stop the disclosure in this case, is he wanted to disseminate it on the internet so that everybody could look at it, which again would cause further harassment and intimidation of the victim. It also will put any potential witnesses at risk, and it's going to.
Again, objection assumes facts, not an evidence. Objection calls for an expert opinion. Objection calls for a legal conclusion. I mean, she's basically just rattling off a bunch of personal opinions that are argumentative and hostile towards the victim. In this case, the victim being Lane Myers. And I just don't see it. I don't see how any judge, even without objections, could uphold such an onerous, arbitrary, and capricious argument.
Create problems for if this case were to proceed to trial of getting a fair jury pool who hasn't seen.
If you're looking to sell your car, Carvana will give you a real offer in.
Sorry about that. Again, I have to get the, I have to update my credit card. Otherwise, I got to deal with these stupid commercials. But just let me go ahead and run this one out. And we'll get back into it.
Certainly wouldn't know about.
Hold on, guys. Ay. Because I honestly am not interested in buying this guy's product. You know what I mean? I'd rather pay to not see it. Here we go.
The case, but if they sit there and read all the disclosure in the case and that is readily available, it's going to risk us being able to have a fair trial in this case. So again, we're asking for no contact through
fair trial.
Well, I just went through those. So let me talk about some of the factors under ARS 13-3967B. The things that court can use in determining method of release or the amount of.
That's right, Grateful Debs.
The court should take into account. And I'm going to go through the ones that I feel are applicable to this case. One, the views of the victim. She has been subject to constant harassment and intimidation.
Objection, assumes facts. Calls for an expert opinion.
With this case. And I do want to be very clear that Ms. Walker has not brought this case. That the state of Arizona is the one pursuing this prosecution. The state of Arizona is.
Well, hold on a minute. Now, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if this is the same case, but isn't this the case where her husband is a city attorney who forwarded the charges to the county prosecutor in the name of the people of the state? I don't know if that's this one, but somebody tell me, because it sounds like, based on what I know, that was what happened here. So somebody help me understand if that's what happened, because if it is, what she's saying is not true, and it lacks any kind of foundation. Is that right, Selwyn? Because if the prosecutor, well, Yellow Cat, I did hear Lane speaking, so I think he was there. I think Lane was there, Yellow Cat. I think he was at this hearing, but he was represented by an attorney, if I'm not mistaken. And again, guys, I've been out of it the last couple of days, so don't be mad at me if I don't know this thing like the back of my hand. I'm trying to play catch up and give you my rundown on how I would handle a case like this if I was the defense attorney in California or Texas. So I'm not a master of Arizona law, but I am a civil rights lawyer, and I know that in federal civil rights court, whether it's Arizona or anywhere else, this is how I would handle a case like this. Okay, so his husband is a prosecutor of Lane. Interesting. Okay, his husband. Okay, interesting. You're right, Yellow Cat. I don't hear an attorney objecting, and that is a problem for me. Because I'm all about it. Okay, Arthur Claremont. So it's not a he, she, they, them, they're Democrat. It's actually someone who recognizes that God created male and female. That's good to know. Because my pronouns are good looking. All right, let's get back into this video.
Bringing this case. The victim, regardless of whether she wants to go forward with this case is absolutely going forward through the state of Arizona. The nature and circumstances of the offense, once again, we have repeated harassment regardless of court orders and in violation of
facts.
court orders. And again,
Wax Foundation.
Prison time. We have
Irrelevance.
The accused poses a danger to others.
I would say it's irrelevant that he's facing mandatory prison time. I mean, you can use lawfare to charge your political opponents with anything. The Soviets said, "Show me the man and I'll show you the crime." I mean, look what they did to Trump. I mean, just a bunch of trumped up charges thanks to George Soros bought and paid for prosecutors. And all it did was make him. What did it make him? What happened to Trump? He won an election because most people saw through it. that it was political antagonism and it was a joke. Let's keep going.
The community. Again, in this email, he decided to provide to me a list of people that he's been filming in the community. He gave me a list of that he has videos about to include 7 federal judges, 13 local Pima County judges, 5 local prosecutors, 25 local members of law enforcement, 18 employees of the city of Tucson, 39 employees of Pima County, the FBI, 10 U.S. Marshals, 20 U of A employees, and 15 U of A police. So this is a list he provided to the state indicating the people he's been videoing. We have witnesses who are scared and intimidated and people who do not want to come forward because of the fact that he's been.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people are scared. I don't see any threats. I don't see any harassment here that would rise to the level of a physical attack. And I think that's the standard, isn't it, guys? A clear and present danger to your physical being. I mean, his own channel says nonviolent. I mean, it's pretty clear that he's a nonviolent guy. Honestly, I just don't see it. I haven't seen this guy a million times. I just don't think he's one of these guys that wants to throw down. I think he's just one of these guys who wants to stand up for his rights. What do you guys think? That's what I think. Okay, so Mr. Gold, thank you, Mr. Gold. Mr. Gold says she is arguing Lane's side now, basically showing that he is a commentator, free speech of all people. She is trying to block all of his work. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with it too, brother. That's what I think too. Mr. Gold says he wants a much better America, free from tyrant. Do you want that? Yes. Dr. Shiva, Truth, Freedom, Health, join the movement today. Hell yeah. Oh, that's F saying that. Okay, right on, F. Yeah. Sorry, you just have the same green emblem, so I thought it was Mr. Gold. Yeah, it sounds like a reporter. Well, yeah, a Democrat, no difference, right? I guarantee you she's not a Trump supporter. I would say 99% of the judiciary and the prosecutors in Arizona are hardcore leftists. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. All right, so let's get back into the argument.
Targeting them, and they're concerned that they're going to be posted on the internet and have a lot of people coming after them. Like I said, he has targeted everybody involved in his criminal cases, including posting addresses of theirs online. And number 6 under 133967B is 6, weight of the evidence of the accused. The state has very strong evidence of all of his crimes in this case. He's been live streaming about.
Right. So, by the way, the evidence does show that his home was shot at. So freedom fighters often are attacked by the state. And we know like Alvin Bragg and all the George Soros prosecutors did that to Donald Trump. And we see something, many people say a similar thing is happening here. This prosecutor is saying evidence of all of his crimes he's been live streaming about. Look, I've watched this guy's videos. To me, it looks like he's a watchdog trying to uncover corruption. I've never seen him tell someone to go to someone's house or threaten them. This, to me, is just all made up poppycock. I don't see it. And if I was his lawyer, I would be there would be so many objections. This video would be 3 hours long instead of 13 minutes. Let's keep going.
So we have video evidence. We have his admissions. Just yesterday, he went on and went through every single charge, talking about what he did to commit those offenses. So the state has very strong evidence against him. And we also have
Where's the evidence?
Records from the court. And then there as well, the accused record of arrests and convictions. As previously noted, he does have prior convictions, which makes him facing mandatory prison.
They sure do,
time
Justin.
as a lengthy
They sure
arrest
do.
history. And so for all those reasons, we are asking for these more stringent release conditions because I think it's necessary to protect the victim and others in the community and other people connected with this case. And then I also want to point out the Arizona Constitution 2.1, the Victim Bill of Rights. The victim is to be treated with fairness, respect, and dignity, and to be free from intimidation, harassment, or abuse throughout the criminal process. And just from him getting a summons, he immediately targeted again the victim and immediately was calling upon third parties to engage in harassment, intimidation, and abuse towards this victim. And so these release conditions are necessary to protect the integrity of this case, to protect the integrity of this system, to allow people to maintain confidence in the judiciary system, and above all, to protect the safety of our victims. Thank you.
If a man really hates.
So basically, hold on, I got to get rid of this stupid commercial. Basically, Arthur Claremont, that's what I feel too. I mean, it looks like this is all feelings and no law. But the problem is, if you don't have your lawyer making objections and you have a judge who is emotionally driven, an emotionally driven judge, or a politically driven judge, right, who wants to make sure they get reappointed to the bench, and they know their donations are coming from what? The bar, the prosecutors, right? That's where the campaign funding is coming from. That's something that us lawyers, especially trial attorneys, think about. We think about that all the time. Like, is it really an unbiased system? So it's something you guys got to take into consideration. That's why I tell all of you guys that your real strength is in recalls. The recall efforts are probably the only way that you're going to get public servants, at least until we can get rid of, until Doge, if Doge works. Because so far they've uncovered a lot. I mean, we know they spent billions of dollars on non-governmental organizations to flood our country with illegal alien criminals. And we know that the goal was to redistrict every red state blue by using the U.S. Census, because they don't even have to vote. But of course, they were registering and are registering all the illegal aliens to vote at the DMV when they get their driver's licenses. And of course, you can say, well, they're not allowed to. It's a crime. Yeah, whatever. Go jump off a cliff if you think that's not happening. That's exactly what it was about. So unless Doge can expose that, your only real other opportunity is to form alliances with like-minded people and start recall efforts. That's the only way, in my opinion, you're going to change anything, honestly. Because I don't know that Doge is going to work. I mean, look at, Schumer and Trump are pretty buddy-buddy, right? Where's the Epstein files? What's going on with that? I really, if you really believe in government accountability, you can't trust anyone who's a politician. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. I don't care if you're a Marxist, communist Democrat, or you're a rhino Republican, right? Nothing's gonna change until we, the people, start homesteading, homeschooling, start growing our own food, start capturing our own rainwater, right? And start forming alliances and parallel systems. That's the only way anything's gonna change, guys. That's why I invite all you guys on my channel to form parallel systems and start, all you guys should be becoming friends with each other. You should be reaching out to each other. If one of you guys has a business, like silk screening, and somebody needs t-shirts, that's where you should be buying from, not from any of these other people. You should be doing business with each other. Because if you're on my channel, you're a brave patriot, and this is coming from a recovering Democrat, right? The Democratic Party left me. I didn't leave them. They became like the rhino Republicans of the 80s. Now they're the party of war, but they also have this weird perverted stuff, where look at what these public school teachers are, drag queen story hour. What the hell? Why would you ever let your kid go to a public school? What is wrong with you? Anyways, let's get back into the video. And hold on a second. I just have to get through this stupid dag nabbit. Hold on, guys. I have to fast forward this. I'm having a problem with my mouse. And by the way, today I'm going to pay for the commercial-free thing. I had it before. I just, my credit card got stolen. So let's get back into the video. Boom. Something's wrong with my mouse too. All right. Got a couple more minutes.
Your Honor, first of all these are available as a matter of right. No violence has been alleged. A lot of this may have some free speech issues. I realize there may be strong evidence perhaps of something, but there's been no convictions in the states alleging already class 5 felonies for prior convictions. There's also an appeal pending of that injunction, which it may not have been valid in the first place. That gave me some of the contact because Mr. Myers, through the appellate process, has to serve Ms. Walker. I don't think Ms. Walker is represented in that case. I may be wrong. So he legally has to give her those documents for the appellate process. Also, YouTube, it's all over the place. We don't know who's posting. It's not just Mr. Myers here. again, and also there's court camera. There's all sorts of things all over, both on shows, on TV. It's, again, I haven't heard anything about any.
Okay, so here's the thing. In Arizona, it appears as though this is more like a motion proceeding. So it looks like his lawyer is, which is what would happen in like a law and motion proceeding, is writing down all of the prosecutor's arguments and then making the objections after the prosecutor finishes, which is totally good to go. So strike anything that I said about not objecting right away. I was treating this more like it was a trial on the issues, where you would immediately interject an objection. But as long as he makes the objections, which it sounds like he's doing, he's all right. So strike that. If I said anything that seemed disparaging of his counsel, it sounds like he's doing a good job. And that's, again, I haven't watched this in advance. So I'm one of these guys who, if I think I'm wrong, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to sit there and double down and try to act like I'm some smart guy, because that's how you lose. You become a better person by letting other people correct you. It's like iron sharpening iron, right? You should always let a brother rebuke you as well. Don't ever sit there and think that you're right and double down. It just makes you look stupid. All right, so let's keep going.
Violence or specific threats to safety. I know there are a lot of charges, but a lot of them are related. In fact, some may even have some double jeopardy concerns based on what happened in another court.
That's right.
There's also, well, should be special action proceeding, but that's a different issue. My suggestion is that release conditions sufficient to make everybody happy is release to pretrial service with a condition, at least, and this is not a violation of your First Amendment because you have a right to a speedy trial.
That's right.
Pending the outcome of this trial, keeping in mind your speedy trial rights.
I'll agree.
No blogs.
I'll agree.
No, take down all videos.
I'll take the videos that are listed down.
Everything. No communication. We can't control what other YouTubers do. But Mr. Myers can at least, to respect this court, the victims, and release conditions to alleviate concerns while this case is pending. Again, that's not a violation of your rights. It's an exchange for not being in custody.
I agree.
No internet at home, no YouTubing. You just stay in contact either with me as advisory counsel.
So I have a problem with that about not being allowed to access the internet. If I was his attorney, I would not agree to that. I mean, that's crazy. No internet at home. I mean, the guy, he has Westlaw. In fact, I've never seen anybody access Westlaw and find stuff faster than Lane Myers. He would be a great, it would be awesome for his legal team to have his contributions. So I don't know. I take exception to that agreement, to that stipulation that his attorney is apparently making. But I can also see, look, listen, let me tell you something, guys. Lane's got a family. So I'm not going to sit there and second guess him for agreeing to this stuff. I mean, if I was him, I would have butterflies in my stomach. I wouldn't be able to sleep. And I would want to have somebody like Mike Ehline out there advocating for me. So, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. Let's keep going.
Counsel, if you're representing yourself or me as your attorney.
Yes, sure.
And that should alleviate any concerns, Your Honor. And if there's a violation of that, then we can come back and talk about it.
If it's as simple as like removing the
Check it
video.
out. That was cool. So Mr. Gold does say that even though his attorney did stipulate to that, not order, but stipulate to it, Mr. Gold, you're saying the judge did not require that. So we got a couple more minutes. Let's see what the judge actually does order.
Those that are continuing to be alleged as harm, take them down. Then once we figure out, is it free speech or a crime, we'll deal with that later.
Let's solve your cases first.
Right, okay.
Your Honor, just that he has been ordered to have no contact and do these things before, and yet he has continued to do them.
Assumes facts not on evidence.
And as of, yesterday and today, he's been.
Where's the order?
On harassing this victim.
He's never ordered not to make a video. I think that's a legal issue down the road, but
yeah,
that's why to alleviate concerns, I think our recommendation is fair, Your Honor.
Thank you, everybody. So I am going to release Mr. Myers to the supervision of pretrial services. No contact of any kind with the victim or the victim's family. Do not go to the victim's residence or workplace or the victim's family's
Never did.
take the videos down of the victim.
Specifically the ones that are alleged in the summons, right? Not all my videos that she read off, right?
Take everything down
All
in this
right,
case to be safe.
Anything related to the victim.
The victim.
Perfect.
All right.
Yep.
That's it for today then.
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Still a prior restraint, but
Your Honor, can we also make sure that he's directed that he's not to have a third party do any of that?
that's too vague.
No contact means
That's too vague.
not directing to somebody else, because what you're doing there is subjective.
So basically what the prosecutor's trying to do is get an order passed that even someone like me, who's never met Lane, doesn't know Lane, could then be brought in for even discussing it. And that is an absolute violation of the First Amendment. I have a real problem with this prosecutor. I think that somebody who makes arguments like this would be better suited to be a prosecutor in communist China or maybe Canada, right? I don't see that as being an American argument. Let's keep going.
That third party to a crime. So if these are your friends, you don't want them to be convicted of a crime as well. So no third parties.
If these are your friends, listen, did you see that? If these are your friends, you don't want them to be convicted of a crime as well. Well, am I a friend? Could this prosecutor say that I'm this guy's friend and then I get brought in, right? Because that's what it sounds like she's trying to do. I'm really interested to see what the judge says. This is crazy. But so far, I did not hear the judge order anything about a $25,000 bond. It's almost like she brushed it off. So it sounds to me like this judge actually knows the law, which is shocking to me based upon some of the rulings that I've heard from other judges in this matter. But I mean, can you imagine someone saying, we wouldn't want any of his friends to get brought in and being convicted either, so let's make sure that they can't post anything either. I mean, that's wild to me. Vague and ambiguous as to the definition of friend, number one. And also it violates the Constitution, Your Honor, that we have something called the First Amendment in this country. They didn't even try to pull this kind of crap on O.J. Simpson. This is unbelievable to me.
Your Honor, would you please advise him of what could happen if he were to violate a condition of his release?
There could be a motion to modify and your release.
Can be taken into custody, all right? I think that's been clear.
Don't cut off the judge, dude.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Where do I go?
Hold on. I'll walk you to the second
Okay.
floor.
Okay.
All right? And I don't know if you can get an online.
All right, so you get the idea. Oh my goodness, that was wild. So look, guys, I wish that I was his lawyer, to be honest. I really do, if he would listen to me. Now, that's another issue I have. Look, I got a lot of friends in the YouTube community, and as much as I want to represent them, where I draw the line is if I come on as your counsel, you got to do what I tell you to do, brother. And if you don't, I can't help you, at least as a representative. I'm still going to support you, because I believe in your cause. But if people don't want to listen to me and try to tell me what I have to do as their lawyer, I'm not going to be effective. You know what I'm saying? You hire me because I know more than you. I know better than you. Now, if you want to help me, that's fine. We could work together as a team. But now Mr. Gold says, I better stop being a friend. Just add to all your videos. You are Lane's enemy for safety. Oh, man, you're funny, brother. I love that. Now, hold on. He also says, Grateful Dab says Mike Ehline is the enemy of Lane just for the sake of this case. Mr. Gold says this is Superior Court for somewhat real judges, not a kangaroo court. I get what you're saying. Yeah. It is true. Like, the lower courts, like the traffic courts, they used to call them municipal courts in California. You would tend to have judge pro tems and stuff, commissioners who a lot of people call fake judges. I never called them that, but I did notice there's a big difference in the quality of jurisprudence with the Superior Court judge. But again, they're all political appointees. They're going to be appointed by the governor, or they're going to be elected. And they're all subject to recall, at least in California and Texas, where I'm licensed to practice law. Now, guys, keep in mind that, yes, I do have a background doing criminal defense, civil rights, and stuff like that, appellate law. Presently, all I'm really doing is catastrophic injury cases, all right? Now, I do have other lawyers that I can try to find for you if you have a legal issue. But as a general rule, I don't You know, ever since Governor Newsom destroyed California's economy when he shut down everything because of the the forced jabs and all that, our law firm suffered immensely. And so I don't have the staffing, I don't have the legal team to be able to handle as many cases. So I focus on the cases that I'm best at, which are catastrophic injury, primarily military veterans who get in motorcycle accidents. So I've got one of the largest settlements in history of the United States for a motorcycle accident, over $10 million. And I also helped draft the Cruise Ship Safety Act. So I help cruise ship victims, where these cruise ships are, taking advantage of American law and using maritime law to avoid liability when they assault children and women on these cruise ships. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm a victim's lawyer. All right. And I don't do a lot of criminal stuff, but I would make an exception for people like Lane or Reluctant Prophet. So I am in the process of trying to get waived into Arizona. The problem that I'm having is I've got this ruptured disc and it's been really hard for me to go live. So I need some help, like if you guys know of a pain management doctor in Nevada that would, that can help me, please let me know. I'm going to be, by the way, next weekend, I'm going to be out in Texas. So I don't know how I'm going to make the flight. Luckily, I've got some pain meds and I'm going to fly first class. So hopefully I can recline, but I'm going to be in Houston, Texas, I think Willis, with the Leathernecks Motorcycle Club next Saturday. And I have a military veterans nonprofit that I help run called the Paul Ehline Memorial Ride. And so I raise money for families and victims of service-related cancer. So that's the kind of stuff that I do. I help people who are fighters, people who love their country, and primarily veterans. So if you have other cases that I can't help you with, don't think that I'm a dick or that I'm trying to not help you. It's just because, I feel that my creator has called me to help people who are victims. And if you are a victim and it's not a case that I'm licensed to help you with, not in your state, I'll try to help you find someone. And I'm counting on Team MPE and people like Brandy and Arthur and JM and Mr. Gold and F to help me also. Look, if I got a guy reaching out to me, let's say hypothetically Grateful Dabs reaches out and says, hey man, I got this criminal case in Washington, D.C. Can you help me? I'd like to be able to say, hey, is there anybody in Team MPE who knows a lawyer in Washington, D.C. who's patriotic? And if you do, then I'll reach out to him and I'll say, hey, look, I got 22,000 subscribers. I got Chili DeCastro, over 600,000 subscribers. I got Reluctant Prophet. I think he's got 60 or 70,000 subscribers. If you help my friend Grateful Dabs, I'm going to ask my friends as well as on my channel, and I'm going to promote your law practice. Guys, if you guys just do that, look, I'll use my pull that I have with those guys because I believe that they would help us without charging any money, okay? And maybe I could help y'all get some pro bono representation because it's not really pro bono. They're getting advertising. They're getting exposure. I hope that makes sense to y'all. Now, my business doesn't come from having a YouTube channel, all right? I do this because I love you guys and I care about my country and I know my time is short. I have a lot of injuries and I have kids and I'm trying to teach them how to be patriotic Americans and help people. So my daughter's helping me with the channel. She's helping me do the shorts. I'm showing her look, if you do a good job, people will give you a super chat, but don't do it because you think you're going to get a super chat. Don't do it because you think someone's going to buy your book. By the way, if you want to support my channel, pick up the digital version of my ebook. You can go to my YouTube profile. It's called My Journey to Becoming a Practicing Lawyer with No Law Degree or Undergrad. It won't be this book. It'll just be a digital version. But it's on PayPal. It's $19.99. If you had to buy this book, it would cost you a lot more. And then I have to charge shipping and handling. Just get the digital ebook. Even if you don't want it, buy 10 of them, send them to all your friends. It's just really a way for you to donate to my channel and help support me. And put me in a position where I can sort of wind down my law practice work and get more into activism, which is really what I feel called to do. But again, I got a family to support too. So it's really hard, guys. But don't think that I'm trying to ignore you. Don't think that I'm trying to like get rich off of this. That's not what I'm about. I really care about my country and I care about my countrymen. So thank you, F. I've done acupuncture, I've done chiropractor, I've done massage, and it's a little bit okay, but it's just not healing, man. My whole left leg feels like someone's hitting it with razor blades every time I sit down. So I'm actually at a standing desk right now. I've been standing here for almost 2 hours at a standing desk, and I'm just like this. It just sucks, man, because you can't get comfortable when you're standing. You know what I mean? But anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at now. Does anybody have any questions before I call it a day? Or do you guys want me to cover some cop watch videos or something? Because let me see. Let me just take a look. Maybe there's some cop watch videos maybe I could do like a half hour of cop watch videos. Let me take a look. Now, I've been told that people don't like the bank audits and the post office ones. So let me see what I can find here. Well, here I got I got an 8-minute. I got one from Cop Watch. Let me give me a bunch of ones if you want me to do an attorney reaction of a Cop Watch video. So this comes from Cop Watch. He's got 512,000 subscribers, and I think I've actually subscribed to his channel, and I've been on a couple of them. Oh, thanks, Integrity Now News. We can watch Lane read police reports from last night. Well, let me do a Cop Watch one, bro. I'm going to try to go live again about what's going on with Lane tomorrow. I just need to talk to some of his people that he knows so I can be more abreast of what's happening with this case. Because at this point, now that I know that how what's going on, I don't want to say or do anything that could make things worse for Lane. I'm not here to try to get a bunch of likes and views. I'm here to try to help this guy out. But yeah, let's just watch this next video. It's 8 minutes. And then after that, I'm going to probably go grab some chow with my kids. All right, here we go.
Step out of the vehicle. 25 Metro. So be advised, driver's going to be off-duty NMSP officer.
Outflash is 5-6.
Off-duty New Mexico State police officer was observed in her vehicle driving recklessly. A sheriff's deputy observed her car not maintaining lanes, and she had 2 popped tires. The off-duty state police officer eventually pulled over and decided to not comply.
2543, come to my 20. Can you roll down the window?
Are you looking for the most affordable way?
So sorry, guys. Again, I'm my credit card got stolen, so I had all this stuff blocked, these commercials. So just bear with me as I get rid of the commercial, and we'll get back into the video. I apologize for that. It's kind of shitty, but I'm doing my best to try to play along and let the commercial go and come back. But tomorrow, if I do go live, that'll be fixed.
Can you roll it down?
What's up? What's up?
You're going the wrong way on 2nd Street, and then you also hit a curb and popped both your tires on the side. How much alcohol have you had tonight?
Nothing.
So why are you slurring?
I'm not slurring.
Go ahead and step out of the vehicle for me, okay?
Hey, just because you said I slurred, there's no reason.
So you're refusing to get out of the vehicle? 25 Metro. 201, refusing to get out of the vehicle, slurring her words. Smell alcohol coming from inside the vehicle as well.
Oh, 2 inches. So,
201 just rolled up all the windows, refusing to get out. Doors are locked. I need you to step out of the vehicle. Hey, firm, she will.
Now, just out of curiosity, guys, I don't know about the pop tires because I didn't see that on the body cam, but do you think it's possible to smell alcohol coming from a vehicle with a window that's cracked about that far open to give you probable cause? I don't think so. I'd like to know what y'all think, but let's keep watching. Here we go.
Will not get out of the vehicle. Will not get out. I need you to step out of the car. Step out of the vehicle. Step out of the vehicle. I've already explained that to you. Step out of the vehicle. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Step out of the vehicle. Step out of the vehicle. Step out of the vehicle. If you don't step out of the vehicle, we will break your window. We'll remove you from the vehicle. It's your choice. Step out of the vehicle. 25 Metro. So be advised, driver's going to be off-duty NMSP officer. Step out of the vehicle. Step out of the vehicle. You need to step out of the vehicle. Step out of the vehicle. Step out of the vehicle. Step out of the car. Step out of the car. I'm going to break the window. I don't care who you're calling. Step out of the car. I will break the window. Step out of the vehicle now. Step out of the vehicle. Step out of the vehicle. I will break the window. Hold on. Wait for the other guys to get here. State Police Hall. She's 47. Step out of the vehicle. We're going to break the window. This is your last warning. This is your last warning, or we will break the window. Go ahead.
Pretty fast.
I'm watching her hands.
Oh, damn.
Sarge! Please!
Get out.
Step out!
Step out. Unlock the door. Step out.
Sarge!
Damn.
Sarge!
Sarge?
Roll over.
Sarge!
Roll over.
Sarge!
I got it. Here.
Sarge!
Torture cuffs coming on.
Oh, shit. How was that? Some like shots fired somewhere. Oh, that yours? There you go.
Once Metro 10 here for myself and SO2 ones and stuff.
25 Metro. Roll over that way. Sit up. Sit up.
Okay, just roll this way, okay?
Yeah. Sit up. Let's go put her in my unit.
Did any glass on you in your mouth, anything like that?
Yep.
You did? Okay, we'll get
Yep.
it for you.
In my eye.
Ready?
In my eye.
So just my observations are, it looks like state police as well as the sheriff department. So it looks like a joint operation. You've got, I just overheard someone say state police. It could be municipal police. But either way, the sheriff is going to have jurisdiction over the county, the entire county, whereas municipal police will only have jurisdiction within the city, unless they're state police, which would mean they would outrank, well, not necessarily outrank, but have greater jurisdiction theoretically than the sheriff, just so you guys kind of see what's going on here.
Just like,
And in your pockets, the purple
25 Metro. Strong odor of intoxicating beverage on the 201, slurring your words as well.
Hey. Negative. I won't get in the car until my sergeant gets here.
And we're not waiting for you, Sergeant. You're under arrest. Get in the car.
Come on. Put it in your unit.
Put it in your unit, bye.
Pull it through.
Yeah. No, you can transport for me.
Look, have a seat. Have a seat. You know how this works?
Yep.
So what do you guys think? I think she's either an off-duty cop or she works for the military, because she keeps asking for her sarge. So I'm hoping we can figure out what the hell's going on here.
They just kick you.
Think it's good, Mom. You fucking think it's good.
She was charged with misdemeanor aggravated driving while under the influence of intoxicating liquor, open container, 3 counts of resisting arrest, failure to maintain traffic lane, and driving on the wrong side of the road. New Mexico Police Chief Troy Weisler said he was extremely disappointed to learn about the arrest. He said the officer chose to resign before an internal investigation could be completed. I remain committed to holding all my officers accountable for their actions. Her conduct does not reflect the values and integrity that define a New Mexico State police officer, and I am deeply troubled by her conduct and this breach of public trust.
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair statement. I mean, who's going to argue with that, right? All right, let's see. You guys want me to do one more before I head out of here? Let's do one more. What the hell? Hold on, guys. It just always blows my mind the way the when cops get arrested or cops are violating the law. I mean, this one, apparently she blew out her tires, was going the wrong way. She immediately gets on the phone to talk to Sarge, like Sarge is going to get her off. And maybe Sarge could have gotten her off, right? That's the problem, right, guys? So now we're going to go to Mr. 5 ID Refusal, one of my favorite channels. Let's see the latest video from Mr. 5 ID Refusal. Let's get into it.
Legitimate reason. I want to know, who do you think was worse, this female officer or the male officer? If you believe the police actions were wrong, leave a 5 in the comments section.
Hello. How's it going?
It's going there. I'm building the store right here.
Okay. You got stuff in there then?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I just left it up.
Okay. Do you have your driver's license with you?
What do I need that for?
So, I want to verify that you are supposed to be here. What kind of store are you guys working on?
We're going to turn the door in.
Okay.
If you want, I can just open the door for you.
Okay. Who's a good contact?
I'm him.
What do you mean I'm him?
I'm the guy.
So, do you have any paperwork or anything? I know you might have a key. You said you could lock it up or open it up and stuff like that. Do you have?
I just got it.
But do you have like a contact number that I could verify, like who you're leasing the property from or anything like that? So I'm a little confused. Normally people don't have any problems identifying themselves.
Well,
because I know you're doing construction from here. You told me that that's
Is that
good.
what it usually is? Nobody has any problem?
So the other thing is it's after hours. It's kind of weird to have people, either construction workers, to be on site at this time of day. How can I verify that you are supposed to be here besides you having a key to that place?
I guess just come here during the day.
Well, I don't work at night, so you don't want to give me a phone number and you don't want to identify yourself to me.
Well, it's not that I don't want to identify you. It's just that
And he has no duty to talk to her at all. So this is interesting.
have I committed a crime? I don't know.
So yes, unless I can verify you are supposed to be here, then you are trespassing.
Is that how that works?
So you're on private property, yes, sir.
I don't know how trespassing works.
Yep.
So if you're on private property, you're trespassing? That's the trespassing law?
Yep.
Really?
If you just want to hang tight, I have another officer coming, so we'll just hang out and we'll wait and we'll just go through that. You don't have any weapons or anything
There's
in your
no
vehicle?
not one weapon in here. No. Okay. I mean, ill will or no harm. And I don't mean you any disrespect whatsoever, but you're not going to get my ID. I promise you that. I'm not committing a crime. I'm supposed to be here. So it'd probably be best if you just
Amen. He's right.
Left me alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry you feel that.
No, that's just the way it is. That's
the way it is. That's right. That's
what
the
do you
law.
mean it would be best?
You got your body camera?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. You'll be on YouTube, and it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal because if I haven't committed a crime, which I haven't, it's going to be best for you, your department, everything, as far as looks. If you just did the right thing.
It's true.
Did your job.
Would you mind, while I'm here, just keeping your hands where I can see them?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
That's why I asked you if you want me to step out.
Yeah. And like I said, we'll wait for my partner to get here and we'll go through all of that.
What was your name?
I'm Officer Tafoya.
Your badge number?
17-8.
Very good.
All right, Officer Dressel. So we're going to go around to the other side. This gentleman agreed. He's going to step out of his vehicle.
That was a mistake. I would never agree to get out of the vehicle.
He said he's not going to identify
What
himself.
I said was,
and that it would be best for us
wanted to just make sure
leave.
she was here alone.
So
I don't remember him specifically saying that he would get out of the vehicle. I thought he said, "Do you want me to get out of the vehicle?" But either way, I would never agree to get out of the vehicle ever, because now they're going to try to hit him with a Terry pat down, and they can do a throwdown weapon or plant drugs on him, which we've seen in my other videos. It happens all the time. They don't like it when you question them. So just keep that in mind, guys. Don't ever get out of the car. Obviously, if you violated the law or something, and that would be a different story. But in this particular case, he's not violating the law.
Sure that.
I do have an open container there. So. And he says he's not trespassing, so we'll go around and.
Okay. So do me a favor, set the car off.
Were you injured in a car accident? Then let me ask you a
Hold on,
question.
guys.
Is that a good $5,000?
I hate these things. When, again, tomorrow, if I go live, I will have paid for the commercial-free thing. So let me get rid of the stupid commercial, and I'll get back on there for you. I'll get this bad chicken rolling again. Just give me 1 second, guys. And here we go.
Right there, so. And he says he's not trespassing, so we'll go around and.
Okay. So do me a favor, set the car off. Thank you.
That's right, Mr. Gilrue.
Well, just if you don't mind opening the door so I can at least see what's going on down there. Does that make sense? Sure. Yeah, I see the wrench and stuff, so. Yeah, all my tools are right inside that building too. Okay. Oh, you got a little partner there. Hey, buddy. Yeah, she goes everywhere I go. Oh, young lady. And like I explained to her, I have no ill will, no weapons in the car. So. Okay. Is there a reason you don't want to identify yourself? I'm a constitutional right advocate first and foremost. Second, I just build stores, and I've been down here 7 weeks building that one, making sure there's been some suspicious, weird activity, and there's been other officers around here. She's not going to come out, is she? Oh, she might. I don't know. Okay.
All right. So, sir, I am going to detain you. Okay. I do need to identify
For what?
yourself. You're refusing to identify yourself.
What, have I committed a crime? I know I've asked that. What's the crime?
You're trespassing, and you do have an open container in
I'm
your
on
vehicle
private
as well.
property, right?
Yes. So I do need you to go ahead and turn around and put your hands behind your back, please. Do you have a wallet or anything on you?
I do not.
Okay. And I know you said you've been previously contacted by law enforcement. Have you been contacted by
That's
law
not true.
enforcement
Here.
at this address before?
Well, yeah, they stopped by, not contacted, they just came through.
Yeah,
and seen
that's
what was
bullshit.
going
So,
on. I
okay,
was
so
with-
that's another part. This is why you never, this is why you never ever talk to police, because they'll just put words in your mouth. I understand you said you previously been contacted. No, he said that the police were out here and he's basically standing security because he's doing work there. So, I mean, look, all they want to do is arrest you, put you in the torture cuffs and haul you off to the dungeon and take your money. That's it. That's all they want to do. That is that. Look, that's how they get promoted. That's how they get bonuses. That's how you make it in the municipal police world. That's all that's happening here, guys. Pay very, very close attention to the way she's doing this. This is a total scam. Now, if he's got an open container inside of his vehicle, that could be a problem. All right. Even if it's a private parking lot. However, if he has permission to be there from the building, from the property owner, depending on the agreement between the state legislature, the city, or the county with the police, he may have a valid defense to be able to have alcohol as long as his vehicle is not running. If it's private, there may not be an open container law that would make him in violation. But again, it depends on the state, city, county. It's a jurisdictional issue. So I don't know enough to be able to say one way or another. Maybe somebody here in the sidebar can tell me what's going on. But let's go ahead and keep watching the video. Pretty good so far. I mean, other than him just like admitting and confessing things and kind of like ruining his defense, it's not, he's doing a pretty okay job for a non-lawyer.
Well, that's completely different, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that daytime or nighttime?
Nighttime.
Okay.
And daytime, both. But I'm not answering any more questions, and I'm not talking to you.
Okay.
And I have a campsite in Fruta up here.
So how could we mediate this
I
or
don't know.
mitigate this for next
I'm
time?
not talking. You can do it and say whatever you want. I'm not answering your questions.
So I would say probably in
And
the
I'm
future.
trying to be respectful to you, but
Well, it's kind of
bullshit.
rude if you're interrupting me.
Well,
isn't
it's
it?
kind of rude that I'm in handcuffs
Yeah.
right now. You expect me to be happy? I'm not. The best thing that I told you before, the best thing you could do is just go about your way. I'm not breaking a law.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to
Yeah.
help you, but
You're not helping me by handcuffing me. Are you
can I
kidding
say
me?
something?
No, I don't want to hear your bull.
Okay.
If you want to contact the owner of the property, go ahead. I can't tell you anything else. And yes, I know him personally. I'm building his 18,000 square foot.
So how do I get a
Dollar
hold
Tree.
of the owner?
I got his number.
Okay.
Do you?
Can I get that from you?
Hell no.
Okay.
Get it another way, or just take my word for it. Or if nobody's made a complaint that I'm trespassing, go along your way. But
That's right.
I know one thing, you have about, 20 minutes? And either way, it doesn't matter to me because I've litigated before.
Whose car is this?
Sir, I don't answer questions.
Well, it's not yours. You're not the registered owner.
I don't answer questions, sir.
Okay, so
I haven't committed a crime.
yeah, you have.
What crime?
You're in a parking lot of a closed business.
Not a
No,
crime,
nothing's
sir.
open.
Not a crime.
And you are trespassing.
No, trespassing, that's not how it
Absolutely.
works, sir. It's
Yeah,
not.
it's-
With all due respect,
Go ahead.
that's not how it works. Trespassing, you got to be asked to leave if you are, and if given the opportunity to actually leave. And you should know this.
So a reasonable person that
May I
says,
have your name and badge?
yeah, absolutely, I'll even give you a business card. Let me speak for a second.
Articulate it. Just it's
So-
on camera. I just
Okay,
want it.
so a reasonable person who's in this situation who says, I know the owner, would say, hey, if we call this guy and he tells you that he
I'm
knows
a
me,
constitutional right advocate. You don't have the right to just come up and put me in handcuffs.
That's
and
true.
demand that I ID, sir. Without due respect.
Copy. Yeah,
This
it
isn't
looks like
necessary.
it's not.
you're absolutely
That's right.
it's not.
Amen.
And a reasonable person in a situation like this
can I
who
have your
says,
name
yeah, my name is Officer Dressel,
Officer,
2017.
if you could get a supervisor out here, that'd be awesome.
So, yeah, we'll work on that.
Okay, thank you.
So
Now,
a
other than that, I don't answer questions.
reasonable
And
person.
I'm not committing a crime.
Okay.
So you're doing this all without me committing a crime. And I know the law very well. And I don't break it.
Okay.
And this ain't breaking the law. And you can't just come up and either detain or arrest. Now, if you tell me you're going to arrest me or else me give you my name, I will. At any point during this. If you say, hey, my name is Brad, by the way, because you told me your name and badge number, I appreciate it. Hey, Brad, we're going to arrest you if you don't give me your name.
I'll give you my name gladly. Other than that, I have nothing more to say, and you're not getting my name or fingerprint reader or any of that. And there's nothing illegal in there, but it'd be really nice to let me put on a sweatshirt right there. It's kind of chilly out there. Or just let me go.
Yeah.
So, I know you don't want to listen to us, and you're not going to. But
I'll listen to
this. All could have been like.
It could all been okay if she
False
walked up
arrest.
and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Hey, here's what I'm doing. I'm building a store."
Let me speak without interrupting me.
I mean, with all due respect, once again, I don't want to hear it, man. I've heard it a million times.
Well, I don't want to hear it either.
I don't want to hear cops playing. Well, what are you going to do? I've already told you. I'll give you my name if you say you're going to arrest me if I don't. Otherwise, kick rocks. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but you're violating my rights right now. I've said it several times. I'm saying it again. I haven't broken the law, and you can't tell me a law except I'm trespassing, which I'm absolutely 100% not. Like I said, there's no reason for this. I have no ill will, no harm or nothing. You could take these off and I could put a sweatshirt on. They're going to end up coming off anyways. You just are used to stepping up on people and stepping on their rights, right? It's so ugly. This is why I do this. Maybe after this, you'll have a better understanding, and maybe you'll treat people with respect.
I doubt it.
The channel's got several officers fired that have laughed, and I've warned the same way. I know you're not understanding. I see it in your face. Coming in hot. Is this the supervisor?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Hey.
Oh, it looks cold out there. Damn, you must be
Your first
freezing.
name is Brad.
Sure. What's your name?
My name is Corporal Mosier.
Corporal.
Yep.
Okay, and your badge number?
17-5.
1705?
17-5.
17-5.
Yep.
It's cold out here, and these are not doing anything. I'd like to be able to put a shirt on.
Okay, I would like to be able for you to do that too.
Okay.
But we have to proceed with our investigation before.
Okay, go ahead and proceed then.
Okay. So it's my understanding the officers told you were contacted for trespassing.
Yeah.
I get you have a reason for being here.
Yeah, and that's not how trespassing law works. And as a corporal, you know that.
Yeah.
If you guys don't want me here, the owner, which they don't care if I'm here, but say they did, you'd have to ask them to leave and give me the opportunity to leave, and I would.
We operate our contacts based off reasonable suspicion, which is what they are doing.
Right.
Which gives us the authority to identify.
What's your reasonable articulate suspicion that I've committed a crime?
Yeah.
What's the crime?
Trespassing.
That's not how trespassing law works. No, it's not.
I'm sorry you disagree, but that's what the contact's for.
That really sucks that you think that.
Okay. So
I haven't committed a crime.
Okay. So I'm telling you what we're
You
doing.
need a crime to get my ID. You know how the ID statutes work.
We're going in circles if you don't let me talk.
Well, I don't really care.
So it's been explained
I'm
to you.
not
You're
trying to
outside.
be a
Okay.
jerk.
If you know the owners and they're letting you stay here,
Right.
let me call them to confirm.
Go ahead.
It's not the
I'm
law.
not giving you any number. It's 2 a.m. If you want, the
So
only
go
thing
ahead,
I will
but I
do.
can't call them. I
The
don't
only
understand
thing I
what's
will
going
do for you is I will open that building. I have the codes. I'm the GC here.
Okay.
I'm not doing
Just
it.
because you have access to the building doesn't mean you have authority to be here after hours.
Okay, well, or you can
That's
just
not
you
true.
can wait here
That's
until
ridiculous.
7 a.m. when the superintendent gets here.
Right
Right,
now,
and this
you are
isn't
the one
reasonable. I'm not doing
prolonging the
anything.
stop.
I'm not doing anything wrong.
And right
because
now,
you guys could get in
you
your
are the
car
one
and leave.
prolonging the stop.
You could let me go, which is
So,
the right thing. That's what.
Hold on a minute, guys. I just want to share something with you. If I have access to a building, that is direct evidence that I do have a right to be there. And that would absolutely come into evidence at a criminal trial. Now, in this case, it appears as though trespassing can only be considered a crime if you're warned by the property owner and then you have to leave. However, now, here is the kicker. What if there is a local statute or code that does give local law enforcement the authority to make an arrest without a prior warning? Because I know that in Florida and some cities, there is a law like that. So without knowing that, I can't make an absolute call on it. But I do know this, that if they thought a crime was being committed, they would have already threatened to make an arrest. I think that they realize they don't have RAS to make an arrest, and they're trying to get him to admit and confess things so they can make an arrest. And so far, as a non-attorney, as a general contractor, I think he's doing okay. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree he's doing a pretty decent job. For all you fellow cop watchers out there, let's keep going.
Right now,
Once
you're
we
violating my
identify you,
rights
that
by
very well
having me
may
in
be.
here and having me out here, and I haven't committed a crime.
What happens?
Only way that you are getting my ID is if you tell me, Brad, I'm going to arrest you if you don't give it to me. If you say that, I'll give you my ID. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you right now, this isn't working out for you guys. I haven't committed a crime. I'm not in the middle of a crime. You know how Raz works. You're not stupid. You would think that you would know, especially you as a corporal, the law on IDing.
Okay.
And if you don't,
let me ask you this real quick, sir. So this little device I brought out is a fingerprint scanner.
Yeah, I'm not touching it.
Okay, that was my next question. I was asking if you would comply with that.
You gotta be kidding me. I'm not complying with anything with my ID. Give me your papers. Give me your papers. I'll tell you what. There is another way to get my ID. Show me your ID.
I'm not under suspicion of a crime right now.
And neither am I. I haven't committed it. No, that's not how trespassing works.
You want to stay with him?
If you ask me,
So we are being advised that the parking lot we're on actually has been recently developed and belongs to the church right over there. So we're getting in contact with the church owners and see if they wish to pursue any trespassing charges. The other thing too is I also have probable cause for an open marijuana container in your vehicle. And we do have a city ordinance. We have a city ordinance that does not allow camping on city property or within city limits.
Unbelievable.
So I would like to let you know that I do have probable cause for at least 2 of those 3 charges once we get a hold of the owner.
Not true.
If they choose to pursue trespassing charges, I can charge you with that as well.
You can trespass.
At this time, I would like to leave it up to you whether you would like to identify yourself.
You let go and you go on your way. That's the only.
Are you willing to identify yourself?
There is no other answer except no.
Well, I will be charging you with open container.
You're going to charge me with open container.
Do you have your driver's license on you or is it in your vehicle?
So am I under arrest?
Yes.
I am under arrest?
Yes.
Okay. It's right there in my door.
And what is your first name, sir?
Bradley. Bradley. I still haven't committed a crime.
And what is your middle name?
My last name is Conley.
What is your middle name?
Conley.
What is your middle name?
Middle initial is W.
Copy. Would you like to pursue trespassing charges?
Trespass.
Thank you. So we're going to walk over to my patrol vehicle and just walk forward.
In many ways, actually.
That is just the stupidest thing ever, guys.
Really
you know, and I'm looking over in the, hold on a second. Let me just let me get rid of the TV commercial really quick. Hold on. I mean, I saw a comment over by BZ that it's, how can it be camping on public property if it's private property? Okay, so that charge doesn't apply. And then with respect to trespassing, if the property owner doesn't want him there, then they have to issue him basically a warning saying he's not allowed to come back and they have to let him go. Now, with respect to an open container of marijuana, I don't know how that works in Texas. I mean, the vehicle's parked, it's in a private parking lot, and he will be able to prove later that he had permission to be in the parking lot. So I'm not really sure how this is going to go down. But either way, guys, that's the problem. If you have any kind of contact with law enforcement, expect to have the torture cuffs if you don't do exactly what they tell you, even if they're violating your rights. So this is definitely a trap for the unwary, and it's not something for the faint of heart. Yeah, that's true. I report bots because YT is too lazy to. That's right. Let's get back into the video and try to see what's going on here.
Can I call someone to come get my dog?
Yeah, we'll get to that here in a minute. All right. And before I put you in there, I do have to search you. Do you have anything on you that's going to poke me, stick me?
Nope.
Needles, nothing like that? Okay. Well, you're in custody, so you don't have to consent.
I'm going in the front?
Nope. I'm not sure what my corporal told them. I wasn't with him when he called them.
You guys can't since there's no complaint, you know that you can't solicit a trespass, right?
It's like a false arrest to me so far.
All right, sir, I'm gonna have you step out of the vehicle for me. I have a summons for you. Can you finish the car for me? Can you shut that door? Okay.
Where would I find
This. What's that?
Where do I get? Oh, yeah.
You do have to go through our, I think it's through our records department. We are located at 555 Duke Avenue. That's where our police department is.
How many complaints you got? Come here, baby. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Sit. Sit. It's okay. Don't pull my pants down. Yeah, I know it is. What you guys just did is very ugly. And thousands of people will be calling the department, I promise. And I've said that before, and people don't understand. But what you just did, that's garbage, man. You can't solicit a trespass. I bet I'm not even trespassing. And I know the owner of this whole entire property very well. I deal with him every day.
Okay, apparently not. I spoke with the property owner of this property, and he does not know you.
Okay. Whatever. Would you take the handcuffs off so I can get on my way?
So, Dressel, did we put his property in
Yeah,
the
your
vehicle?
phone and the change that we got out of your pockets.
Of course it is. I'm going to come down in the morning and FOIA request his body cam. Everything that you said, keep them on.
They are on.
Yeah, I know they
All
are.
right. So I'm going to remove the handcuffs, and I need you to
remove
keep.
them.
I need you to keep your hands
I know
behind.
what to do. Quit giving me directives, please. I'm not doing anything unlawful.
And I'll need you to keep your hands behind your back until I tell you can relax. Keep your hands behind your back for me.
I don't have to do what you say.
All right, so now since you know you're not allowed, you're going to ask you to leave.
I'll be here tomorrow.
So, who do you think was worse? The case of Bradley Conley is a blatant violation of civil rights and a clear example of police abuse of power. The fact that officers detained, handcuffed, and falsely charged him shows either a lack of understanding or a
Well, it's a money raising operation. Okay, that's what municipal police have become. So you can't even really establish a municipal corporation unless you can establish how much the law enforcement agency is going to be able to raise in revenue. And that's why so many people call municipal police road pirates. So it's really just about raising revenue. They recognize that a guy like that is not going to be able to hire a lawyer. They can see that. And so he'll end up paying a fine or plea bargaining out to get out of the charges. And with guys like me as a lawyer, I'm like, dude, I want to help you, but like, I've got 50 other people that I represent right now that are pro bono. I can't take on another pro bono case. So, I can't help everyone. I still have to support my family too. So it's really a tough deal. And again, the only way that we're going to be able to change these laws is with recall efforts. Okay. And I've been telling you guys this for a long time. If you want to change the system, you're not going to be able to change it through the courts. I don't think. I think you change it by recalling public officials and getting rid of them. That's the only way you're going to be able to send a cogent message that they're going to understand. As long as they have power, they're going to use their friends. BlackRock will use their friends in the Democrat Party to make sure that you're forced to take those jabs, et cetera, et cetera. You're never going to win. But if you start getting public officials fired, they're screwed. No matter how much money BlackRock, the World Economic Forum, or any of these leftist Marxist-run organizations give a politician, if you keep getting them recalled, there's no way they're going to be able to continue violating their rights. So that's the way I would do it. Let me see here. BZ Watchdog smells a lawsuit. Yeah, it could be. It's a problem though, because what are your damages? That's another issue, is the damages, because you've got to look at what it's going to cost to file the lawsuit, to litigate it. I mean, typically in cases like that, unless it's a police shooting or a tight handcuff case, there's not enough monetary damages that are awardable to warrant pursuing a case. So a lot of you guys think, oh, I was falsely arrested. I have this huge case. It's like, dude, I've been practicing law for over 20 years. I don't see it. But if you think you got this great case, then handle it pro se and make it happen, buddy. Let me see here. Yeah, you got to go to jail for a few weeks. That's right. That's exactly right. And they know that. That's why they get away with that stuff. The prosecutors and police know. Now, somebody like Caroline in Fort Worth, where she got body slammed, if I had a client like that, I would immediately advise her, go underground, immediately get to the emergency room and see a brain surgeon, see my brain surgeon that I have that helps my firm's clients on a lien, and let's get you diagnosed with a catastrophic brain injury, and let's do settlement negotiations off camera. And then go live once I get you a couple $1,000,000. But if you fight them and want to go live and basically show that you don't have a brain injury, right, by going live on camera and making a big scene, it destroys your potential case as far as damages goes in your civil case. So there's just a lot of different things that I want you guys to understand. That's why I think it's really, really important to call me and do what I tell you to do. And if you don't do what I tell you to do immediately, then don't expect me to represent you. That's all. But anyways, guys, I have got to take my kids out to get some chow. I'm in a lot of pain right now as well, so I need to just lay down for a couple minutes. I have other clients that I have to call today as well on a Sunday. Crazy. But I'm super, super happy that you joined me. And I hope that we learned something about what's going on with Lane. And I'm hoping that you guys will have him in your prayers. I think that these charges against him are ridiculous. I think it's just absolutely absurd what's going on here. I think it's a political ambush. I think that if he wasn't wearing a MAGA hat, that this probably would have never happened. I just think that the deep state, the administrative state, the bureaucracy, the U.S. aid state, right? They hate people like Lane because they don't believe in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights unless there's something in it for them. So anyways, guys, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. What's up, Canon 0311? Ooh, freaking raw. Thanks for joining me today. Speak Life Garden and Homestead. Thank you for joining me, BZ. Brandy Swaney, F. Cops are 5150. Hell yeah, man. Super happy you joined me. Jody Shiloh. Yeah. Speak Life Garden, Homestead, and Permaculture. If I didn't already, thank you for joining me, Mr. DLRU, the Chosen Ones. Man, so many guys joined me today. I wasn't expecting all these people to show up on a Sunday, but I do appreciate it. Mallory Sparks, thank you for, Mallory, having a disc bulge is the worst, man. Damn. It doesn't tell. So you're saying you've been taking Ciades. I'll take a look at it. I don't know what my millimeter bulge is. That's the problem. I've got to take a look at that. I think it's just a really bad bulge. Mr. Gold, good seeing you. Stomper. Anyways, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Sunday. God bless you all. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save. Thanks for all the super chats, and make sure to pick up a copy of my book about how to become a lawyer with no law school or undergrad. And you can get that by going to my YouTube main page and just clicking on it and finding that link to PayPal. And other than that, I hope you guys have a great Sunday. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. Semper Fi, do or die.